Hey, welcome everybody. I'm Chris Gore. This is Film Thread. I was messing with Alan there. I just wanted to see if he was paying attention. Was Alan paying attention? I don't know. But it's always great to see that surprised look on Alan's face, which is most of the time. I love it. I think it's funny. How are you doing, everybody? Lots to talk about on the show today. It's a jam-packed show. Jam-packed. First, we're going to be talking about a movie that's opening this weekend in theaters. You've been anticipating it. I'm very excited. It's Beast with Idris Elba. Yeah, exactly. That's coming. You know what I'm going to do? I'm turning the music down. Turn the music down. Can you hear me better when the music is down? I'm going to assume that you can. We're going to be talking about Idris Elba in Beast. We're going to be talking about She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Alan and I have seen the first 4 episodes. Most of you have seen the first episode, and reaction is mixed, which is these days good for a Marvel show. So we'll get into it. Dragon Ball superhero review. We're going to have YellowFlash here to school me on Dragon Ball because I need some schooling. I need to be educated. In addition, we're going to be talking to Manbaby director Tim Lytel later on in the show. We always like to do our director interviews. Plus, Bulletproof actor and director James Clayton will be joining us on the show. I told you it would be jam-packed, and you are part of the show. And I've got to tell you about maybe some adventures I may have had in Vegas. This was, yeah, exactly. It's not, all I can say is this, it's not going to stay in Vegas. And they're continuing to do the construction on my building. So if you hear some pounding, it's very innocent, this pounding.
Oh, hey, there we go.
Hey, everybody. Alan Ng is here. I am here. Alan, where are you right now?
I am in San Jose for Cinequest. And I just flew in last night, got to see a film, hosted a Q&A for a shorts panel, and hung out with your buddy Michael.
Oh, you did? Mike Rabel?
Yeah, we had dinner.
Nice. Well, tell Mike that I said hi. Cinequest Film Festival is a really cool, true indie film festival. A film festival that supports smaller indie movies. They've also got some pretty big indie films there too. A movie called Linoleum with Jim Gaffigan, which I happened to see. I know you've seen it as well.
Yeah. That was the opening night, and Jim Gaffigan was here for that.
Jim Gaffigan, love his comedy.
Yeah. And then Alison Brie will be here next week for Spin Me Around with a film she did with Aubrey Plaza.
Cool. Well, I know hopefully you're going to be doing a festival only stream maybe later this weekend or Monday. It'd be nice to, Alan, get your report from Cinequest.
Yeah.
I just got back from Vegas. And if you saw, okay, I have lots of photos.
I saw other people's videos of you
I met Alex Stein, Ryan Cannell, I've met before. He and I went and saw the Suicide Squad together. I met Jeremy Griggs, finally, never met physically. Who else? Quarterback Garrett was there. Gary Beekler from Nerdrotic. A lot of fun. It was fun hanging out with them. And we all went to IHOP after. So here was the thing. Drove to Vegas, got there at 4 p.m, grabbed some burgers with my buddy Phil. Then we went to the meetup like around 6. It was awesome. Packed. I mean, packed, jam-packed bar. That bar is awesome. It's basically a nerd bar, Millennium Fandom Bar. Cannot recommend it enough. I will definitely go there next time I'm in Vegas. And it was just a fun hangout. We gave out like a bunch of Film Thread stuff. Then we went and had late breakfast at IHOP at like midnight, 1 a.m. Then my buddy Phil and I decided, well, we're not going to get a hotel. Let's just drive back to LA. So from 2 a.m. to about 4 a.m. we were driving. And by we were driving, I mean Phil was driving and I was asleep. He was tired. I bought $6 gas. $6 gas. Jesus. And then we fell asleep at a rest stop, which is never a good way to begin a story. Those words. We fell asleep at a rest stop. You don't want to start a story with that. And then it took us like another 5+ hours to get back to LA after we woke up. It sucked. But so if I'm a little scratchy, it's because of Vegas. It's a little Vegas hangover there because everybody kept buying me vodka sodas. Thankfully, I did not drive until I sobered up. But
oh my gosh.
Yeah. But Alan, you're in for your weekend is just beginning at Cinequest. So I'm excited to hear your reports.
Yeah. Yeah, I got. They're letting me host a few screenings, the Q&As at least, and so I've got one tonight for the movie Trust, which I'm hoping to see this afternoon, and then red carpet tonight, so that'll be a big event. I'll try to get some footage there, and then just kind of doing stuff over the weekend.
Can I just say I love like smaller festivals, and I wouldn't say Cinequest is a small festival. Let's just say that they champion smaller movies, which I appreciate. But I hate red carpets. I think they're stupid. I think they're really dumb. You've never heard any interview of consequence or anything profound said on a red carpet. It's people being a little bit pretentious and full of themselves. And I'm just, I'm not a fan of those kind of things. Although I have a trick that I do. Every time I've ever gone to an event that has a red carpet, this is, and everyone, feel free to do this. Everyone steal this idea, please. I don't care. I think it'll be fun. Here's what I do. Every time I see that there's a red carpet, and it happens a lot in Hollywood, so it's not like a big deal. What I do is I'll take like my hoodie and I'll go like this, and I'll put it over my head, and I'll run past the photographers. And everybody thinks I'm somebody famous. And I literally will go like, just go like this, and I'll just run past the photographers. And because celebrities will do that. Like, let's say if a Leo DiCaprio goes to a red carpet, Leo will like throw his hoodie up and like, because they don't want to be photographed. No photos, no photos. And I'll even yell, no photos. I gotta go. Except there's one guy that I know, Al Ortega. I've known him for years as a photographer. He's always really nice. He'll take pictures of me, even though, I'm nobody, but I think it's hilarious. So I just look at it. I just look on it as yet another opportunity to fuck with people. I am pre-coffee, folks. Yeah, I'm pre-coffee. So you're getting Gore unhinged, hungover from Vegas.
Well, I mean, I will say, when I've done interviews on the red carpet, the access was pretty cool because I don't think, we got Spielberg on the red carpet. I think that's the only time we'll ever get Spielberg.
And I'm sure it's one of the greatest interviews you've ever done.
I asked the 3 greatest questions anyone could ever ask of Steven Spielberg.
Let's go to see who is in the chat. We have some starred comments here. And I want to do a shout out now to Flaccid Phoenix, who is here. Flaccid Phoenix, shout out to him and his channel, helping us out here, producing, making the show run on time. We have Glenn, junior producer Glenn, hanging in the wings, learning the ropes. Let's see who's here. Amanda Nowicki is here. She says, looking forward to Flash deep dive into Dragon Ball Super. He'll be joining us in probably like 20 minutes or so. Spidey Sensei 72 says, I understand why Marvel is trying to stretch the series out until October, but 2 episodes for She-Hulk would have been better, in my opinion. There you go. Or maybe a movie.
I think so.
I watched the first episode of She-Hulk, didn't see anything wrong with it. I think opinions.
That's the comment. It's the great thing about She-Hulk is it's not bad.
Here's what I'll say. It's nice for a change to see Marvel make a series called She-Hulk, and She-Hulk is the star of the series, rather than making a show called Loki, and Loki is not the star of the series. Or a show called Hawkeye, and Hawkeye is not the star of the series. Do you see where this is going? Do you see where this is going, where they take like the title character and sideline them or diminish them? It's annoying. At least She-Hulk is actually the star of She-Hulk. So I got to give him credit for that. Toasty Danny says, sorry to miss the show. I'm on my way to see Dragon Ball Superhero. Have fun, guys. You can watch the replay because we keep our replays up. Amanda Nowicki goes on to say, Film Threat might be 5 minutes late, but they will never be FNT late. Yeah. 5 minutes tops for us, unless something happens. If we're going to be more than 5 minutes late, we'll actually put something in the community tab. And speaking of that, I have tons of videos and pictures on my phone from Vegas. I'm going to post maybe one public in our community tab, and I'm going to post all the rest in the members tab. So if you are a member, you're going to be in for a treat this weekend because I'm going to be posting all the crazy, weird videos. And Alan will be doing the same thing, actually, from his adventures in Cinescape. We should, Cinequest. Cinequest. Yeah, we should maybe like have a thing where it's like sometimes I'm posting, sometimes Alan is posting. Like Alan doesn't remember this. I posted about his birthday in our community tab. And speaking of that, how about a birthday present for all of you? A birthday present for all of you, because I know that you deserve it. Alan, the look on your face when you watch that video every time
I love it.
makes it
I love looking at my
so
body.
worth it. Makes it so worth it. Should we redo this video and put like Marvel on here? All right, forget. Okay. Moving on to the comments before we get to Beast. VDR says, you're not supposed to talk about what happens in Vegas. Well, I'm going to talk about it. Patrick Lemire says, Manbaby, the Ryan Johnson story. No, Manbaby is an indie comedy that I have not seen, but Alan has. So Alan's doing the interview. So there you go. Omar94 says, I didn't like She-Hulk episode 1. I wanted to, but just didn't like it. Fair enough. I think superhero fatigue is kicking in for me, so I'm pretty burned out on new superhero content now. That's fine. Flaccid joining the panel today, says Dempsey. I don't know. Maybe if he wants to later. Flaccid will let me know. Tommy Weezy, the real question is, did they get Ryan's order wrong? Oh my God. When we had IHOP, I was just like waiting. They almost got it. They brought out his like breakfast and then pancakes separately, but they got it right. I was so disappointed. I was like, I should have gone back there and asked them to get it wrong.
Does he like micromanage his orders or something?
No, they just always get it wrong, and it's very hilarious when that happens. I had my camera like ready, my phone ready just to film it if it happened. Want Biscuit says, IHOP, the rich drunks Waffle House. No, Waffle House, there just wasn't a Waffle House around. Norm's
we don't have them out here.
Norm's is my personal favorite. So there you go.
Yeah.
Fat Elvis says, thumb smashed. Yeah, thumb smashed. And Ashton the Slytherin for $4.99. Thank you so much. She-Hulk feels less like a superhero movie and more a bad rom-com from 2014. I think that's accurate. If you like a rom-com, or I would say it's more akin to a 90s sitcom. And Akanika says, I'm here for the indies. We'll stick around because we've got a bunch. But let's get into our first review. It's a movie that, I don't know, wait. So, Alan, you did not see Beast.
I did not see Beast. Okay,
I saw Beast last night at the AMC Burbank 16. I saw it with a not a very packed crowd. It was lightly attended. Okay. And Beast is the story of Idris Elba. He's a father. He's taking his 2 daughters to Africa because that is where he met his wife, who has passed away from a disease. The trip is kind of a healing trip for the family. They were separated when she passed away. There's a lot of work that dad has to do to earn the trust of his daughters back. This is the backdrop of this story. He meets his friend who is a person who works with lions. There are, prides there, right, of lions and whatnot. So a pride is wiped out by a bunch of poachers. There's one lion left. And this is basically Jaws with a lion. And it's incredibly frustrating and stupid. This is going to be a very short review. Because I just need to warn you about this movie. If this movie were on streaming and I was watching it at home, I would leave my house. I would just leave my house and not finish watching. I felt like walking out of the theater. The movie is 90 minutes and feels insufferably long. The script is awful. Idris Elba is very good. And the guy,
is it Charlton Copley or
what's that?
Is it Charlton Copley? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Wait, could you pronounce that incorrectly one more time?
I think I say it better if it's fast. Charlton Copley. He played Face in the 18 movie.
Yes. Is that what?
Yeah, he's from
He was also in he was in District 9.
Yes, District 9.
He was District 9. I didn't recognize him.
And he played that robot that insufferable.
Yeah, Charlton Copley. He plays Martin Battles in the film. Anyways, so Martin is Idris Elba's character's friend. They're being attacked by this lion when they visit, like, this village has been wiped out. It's basically Jaws with a lion, except all the animals, I would say most of the animals in the movie are digital. And in particular, the lion looks very digital. The movie tries to show off with like a lot of single takes you'll see like a single tape kind of hovering around, and it goes around the car, and the lion is trying to get in at every turn. It just looks very digital. And then there's a scene near the end of the movie where it's like a digital Idris Elba fighting a digital lion. It's the stupidest thing. And I almost like, and I never do this, by the way, when I'm in a movie theater, I'm very polite. I don't yell. I don't, talk. I'll whisper. If my friends are like, hey, do you want me? I'll be, hey, whisper. I am a male Karen in movie theaters, and I'm not, and I don't give a shit. I don't freaking care. I paid to see the movie. However, there was a moment I almost yelled out loud. They're running away from the lion. His daughter is injured. They go into this place where the poachers, it's like a haven for the poachers, this little room. Oh, do you hear that?
Yeah, I hear that.
You hear the bang? They're working on, hey. Oh my God. I don't know what to do. Do they have to do it now? I might have to go talk to them. Anyways, so they go in there and they walk in and they don't close the door. And I literally am looking like, this is like, when the people in horror movies are so stupid, you're just annoyed and you just think, well, they just deserve to die. Well, they all deserve to die in this. And of course they don't die. That's not, I hope that's not a spoiler, but you could already know going into the movie that no one's, at times it felt like a bad family movie because the daughters are insufferable. There's a part where they're like on the walkie-talkie with the Martin character, and they're like repeating things back and forth. So the daughters will say, he's behind the tree. He'll say, he's behind the tree. He's behind the tree. They yell out, he's behind the tree. It's so bad. This movie is at best a 3 out of 10. Awful. So they run into this thing. They leave the door open, and I almost yelled, close the door. Close the door. If you see this movie, the part where they walk in, just yell, close the door, because guess what happens? The lion comes through the door. It's so dumb. Everyone in this movie is as dumb as they possibly could be. And about a third of the movie is in the car, but not in a good way. There are some good films, like recently this movie Fall that was entertaining, where they're stuck on that thing. That was okay. That movie's like a 5 or a 6. This movie's a 3 or below. So I do not recommend it in any way. Pass. It's the big movie opening this weekend, except for The Orphan, which I think I'll see. I'll try to catch that this weekend. We'll talk about it next week. But that's my review of Beast. Let's go to the comments.
Does it end in any clever way? At least
no, it does not.
It just ends.
It ends exactly how you would think it would end: a digital character fighting another digital character. Yeah. Scott Slaughterbeck says,
if I were to guess, it ends like The Lion King, at least for Mufasa.
Scott Slaughterbeck says, lion slips a Slim Jim into a car window. Yeah, that probably would be better if that happened. Tumbleweed better than Bodies. If Bodies is a 1, this is between a 2 and a 3. So it's not good.
So you enjoyed it better than Bodies.
Kara says Hodor. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I should have said Hodor. Hodor, hold the door. Oh my God. Yeah, X Douchex, hold the door. CD Stein 69 for $4.99. Plain and simple. Ghost in the Darkness did it far better. Absolutely. The mountain lion and prey looked better than any of the CGI in this. The lion looks very CGI because it just doesn't. It's Jaws with a lion, and it's stupid.
So compared to the RRR digital lion,
well, they were fun and they worked, and the movie was working. Look, bad digital effects you'll overlook if the movie is working, if the characters work, if the story works, you overlook digital effects. The acting enhances digital effects. When the acting is bad, the script is bad, the story is bad, you notice bad digital effects. Lubitsch Touch Me is a member and says it's like an inverted version of Roar. And 215.3, I think. Beast just makes me want to go watch Ghost in the Darkness again. Also a member. Thank you for that. A hacker called 4chan. Oof. Animal CGI is so cringe. Yeah, it's bad. Latino Slant. I'm actually not surprised. Idris is always great, but he's done a lot of stinkier movies, says Latino Slant. Mm-hmm. Idris Elba's always great. He's always great. He's not the reason this movie is awful.
He's following the Liam Neeson path, basically.
Exactly. The Luke Deckard Show for 5. Thank you for that. She-Hulk felt like they filmed a beat sheet and forgot they needed to fill the moments in between with character development, drama, and raising stakes. We'll get into that later. I think the problem with She-Hulk is the first episode is an origin episode, and it's not typical of the rest of the show, which is a lawyer show. Once it gets
it's very much a pilot. It's very much a pilot episode.
It's a pilot episode. It's not I wonder if it would have been interesting, Alan, if they just started the show with her in the courtroom and then they ran the first episode as a flashback to how she got her powers. That might have actually been like a machete order. They show her origin later in the show. There you go.
I don't disagree with that.
Patrick Lemire says needs a quint. There you go. Jeremy Johns just reviewed RRR today and said the same thing about the CGI. It doesn't matter if the CGI looks bad if the movie's good. Absolutely. In particular, characters the same way. Like if you're engaged in a character, Christopher Reeve as Superman Clark Kent, Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man Peter Parker, they worked, and any flawed special effects you can ignore because you're engaged in the story. And Jeremy Johns, that's great. It's great that 5 months later, he fucking found this movie. 5 months. Movie was in theaters in March, folks. It's fine. Look, I seek out weird shit. But if your job is to pay attention to this stuff, you should be paying attention to this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we were there from the very beginning.
There you go. For a lot of things, including Manbaby, which we're going to talk to the director later today. Dempsey, did he punch the lion with a torch? He did not. Should have done that because that happens in RR Dempsey. Remember, thank you for that. Smith Denard for 2. It was great to meet you in Vegas, Chris. Fun time. Thank you, Smith. I hope you got one of my books, Celebrities Poop. And if you want something for free, remember, folks, you can send us a self-addressed stamped envelope. It's super easy, barely an inconvenience. Just send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Film Threat, 5042 Wilshire Boulevard, PMB 1500, Los Angeles, California 90036. Send a self-addressed stamped envelope. I'll send you a Film Thread sticker. Might send you more stuff if you send me a larger envelope. May have a DVD lying around. Who knows? But so there you go. Adam Iglesias says, was the lion fight okay, though? No, it was not. It was, it felt very fake. I didn't believe it. And Pops became a new member. Pops became a YouTube member on the Film Thread channel. You're going to get all sorts of, you're going to get a bunch of stuff from Vegas for members only, and Alan's going to be posting stuff from Cinequest for members only. Right, Alan?
Yes. I've got plans.
And Tom of Midnight's Edge has still not seen RRR. Neither is Gary Beekler. Neither is Ryan. I don't know what I have to do. I don't know what I have to do, but that's the mission of this channel. If you watch this channel, you're going to get odd movie recommendations for small indies worth checking out. Fat Elvis says RRR. Drink. That's on the bingo card. And VDR says, Chris is an evangelist for RRR. His reward in heaven will be great. Well, I feel like it's like my job just to tell you about movies and shows that are not the norm. The one I'm watching now, which is weird, watching She-Hulk and then watching another lawyer show, is Extraordinary Attorney Woo. It's on Netflix. It's a Korean legal drama, and it's very entertaining. It's a good pairing with She-Hulk, I might add. So there you go. And Smith Denard, thank you so much. It was fun. This is part of why my voice is barely there. Sorry, folks. Still on coffee number 1. It was just great to meet everybody. And I always, when I meet fellow nerds, I talk too much. Let's switch gears. YellowFlash will be joining us very shortly. But let's switch gears here and let's talk a little bit more about She-Hulk. We might have to we'll have YellowFlash on. Maybe he can give us his take. Pretty sure he hated it because I watched his review this morning. But let's talk further thoughts on Wednesday. As I was driving up to Vegas, we had a conversation. I enjoy this show. Is it going to change the world or change my life? Is it the greatest show ever? It actually is not. Is it a fun 90s sitcom lawyer drama? I found it fun. Is it feminist? It's definitely feminist. Is it woke? A little bit. but not in an annoying way. I would say there's even ways where it's very like woke people are going to hate it. In particular, when this character Madison shows up. Madison shows up in like, I think is it episode 3 or 4. She is a party girl who's plastered drunk all the time, wearing a mini skirt and heels, who tries to hook up with Wong. And she's very much a type of female character that you
wouldn't see it in a woke show.
You wouldn't see it in a woke show ever.
Or at least highlighted in the way that she is.
Yeah.
Well.
To further thoughts, and please chime in with your own thoughts, please, because you've seen the first episode. I'll just say this. The first episode, and I will, I want to say, put a shout out to Chado. Paul Chado, look up his channel. He did a review, and he's only seen the first episode, and he agrees with us. He actually, Alan, he seems to like the show.
He basically says, as an executive, he is positive to the show and is definitely interested in seeing the second episode. But there's a lot of it's pretty much a backhanded compliment at the moment. But for the most part, he liked it.
Yeah, for the most part, he liked it and wants to watch the rest of it. I'm excited for him to see it, and I'm excited for you to see it. I don't know if we're going to get any further episodes, but the problem is the Disney series, the ones that have started out well, like have all disappointed. Are there any Disney series that started out well and didn't end poorly? WandaVision, Moon Knight.
Well, I mean, people go best series on Disney Plus, and I go, well, yeah, of the Disney Plus originals. This is probably the best of the series.
No, of the Disney Plus Marvel originals, I think this is the best one because all of them have been terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
All of them have been terrible. Hawkeye, I mean, just go on and on. I can't think of one. So because this knows what it wants to be, it's a 90s legal sitcom in the vein of Ally McBeal. The feminism is along the lines of Mary Tyler Moore. It's not, it's sort of like, it's old school feminism. It's, I thought it was fun. It knows what it wants. It's also short, thankfully. It's 25 minutes. Some of the episodes are short.
I mean, they're all between 30 to 40 minutes.
Well, that's with no. There's not one that's.
Oh, yeah, with the 10-minute credits at the end. And they're good
7 minutes. 7 minutes.
But I will say that I think the first episode is not the one that is going to endear people to the show because it's the most unlike. It's unlike the other episodes. The others are very much courtroom legal comedy, basically.
Legal comedy, exactly.
Yeah.
The first episode has
it's the origin story.
Yeah, it's the origin story, and they might have actually been better off putting that in the middle of the show. Like, how did she become She-Hulk? There's no reason. I mean, like, telling stories out of order that happens all the time. We're gonna keep talking about this. Let's go to your comments. VDR says Alan gets his checks from Disney and Chris gets his from Mumbai. Possibly. There you go.
Like I said, I'm going to D23, so
yeah, definitely pick up your back up a truck to get your money, Alan. Immortal Remus says would have been easier if they just cast a tall, athletic, 6-foot actress in green FX makeup to play She-Hulk as the 24/7 version and CG Chris Evans her for the first episode before the first transformation. Yeah, I mean, maybe just do it like they did in the original CBS show with Bill Bixby. That would have been great. I mean, that is one way to do it. It's fine. So
yeah, I mean, they don't. By no means are we getting Thanos quality graphics here.
Well, I'll say this. Look, Film Thread has always been an outlet that has opinions that will be counter to things. Not all the time, but it's like I like to think we provide a different take, but also like yes, most Hollywood stuff sucks. Like the baseline of Hollywood most of it is garbage and not worth your time. So here's some alternative films, some other choices. Just like when they used to have video stores, there's the like Sightline, like right as you're looking, that's all the mainstream bullshit, and then like the at the bottom of the rack. That's our thing. Look at the bottom of the rack. Like that's where all the trauma stuff is. Movies like Poultrygeist. VDR says it's not woke, it's half asleep. Daniel is a member. Thank you, Daniel. She-Hulk isn't for everyone, but it isn't the trash so many claim it is. Yeah, I would say that. It was like when I saw Morbius, and it's just like, oh, Morbius isn't very good, but it's not garbage. It's not awful. I think Jared Leto takes himself way too seriously. It's like, but I think that actually works for an actor trying to embody a role. But you gotta give Disney or Marvel credit just for like they did a show called She-Hulk and it's actually about her. These other shows have been BS.
And unlike calling it the Mutants instead of X-Men, they actually kept the title She-Hulk.
Exactly. Retro Nerd Girl.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the first episode. It's not like anything in the MCU. This feels like a real TV show. It's having fun with itself. Yeah, cool. But also, like, I've seen the complaints people have had, and I think they could be considered a little nitpicky for me. For me, they could be a little nitpicky in the sense that, like, how her origin is. Okay, in the comic, she gets a blood transfusion.
A literal blood transfusion.
Their blood mixes accidentally in an accident. And the one thing is, someone asked, and I can't believe I didn't notice this, he had the inhibitor on his wrist. That's why he didn't transform into the Hulk. Yeah. So, yeah.
And I will also say that the nitpicking, that's where the trailers do it disservice. The gags, the lines, the scenes in the trailer work so much better in the context of the show than it does mixed together with in a trailer.
Everyone's forgetting the fact that, like, Hulk proves he's stronger than her. He throws the boulder. When he throws the second boulder, he throws it further. It goes and burns in the atmosphere. And she's just like, okay, I can't do that. Right. Bait and switch plus, says Patrick Amir. Leto is a bit much, says Scott Slaughterback. I'll say this. I like to work with passionate people. I don't care. Whenever I've had, like, even the shittiest jobs I've had, I worked at Burger King making burgers, flipping burgers, fast food when I was just out of high school. Okay. I worked the midnight shift. So it was like late night. I'd come in at like 10 p.m. and I would leave at 5 a.m. and you could take free burgers home. My mom loved that. But it was, you know what I did? I did the best fucking job. I did a great job working at Burger King. I love it when people bring their A game, their most passion, and care about doing a job well. I don't care what the job is. So Jared Leto, I give him credit. He's a bit much. When he was on Suicide Squad, he was sending like dead rats and notes to like the cast in character as Joker. That's commitment. So I give Jared Leto a lot of credit. And Morbius, not a great film, but it's not a terrible disaster. I feel like we try to avoid hyperbole for the most part. Having said that, like, it's like, oh, that's a valid criticism. That's a valid criticism. Like, I get it. Daniel for 5, She-Hulk would smash Allen, but pass Flaccid Phoenix. There you go. CD Stein 69 for 999. She-Hulk was okay. Only real cringe moment was the whole, as a woman, all I have to deal with monologue. Otherwise, it's what I expected for a sitcom. Yeah, I found that monologue a little annoying, but I also felt like it's her journey as a character. That's where she's like this whiny bitch, right? It's kind of a whiny bitch. She's got to learn. Like, no, seriously. I mean, like, if depending on the version they got, because it didn't really. I mean, like, Hulk in this sort of new incarnation was abused as a kid, like an abusive father. Like, men have their own struggles. You know what we do? We learn to suck it up. Maybe what She-Hulk learns is she's got to learn to suck it up.
Yeah. Maybe we as men can just explain it to her in a way that
I would definitely explain it to her. I would cut her off and I would totally explain it to her. Say, look, let's get.
Let me tell you how it works.
Spider Geronimo, She-Hulk in the city. I love that comment. That's great. Spidey Sensei 72 for 5. Chris, you've seen the first 4 episodes. Does it get better in your opinion or not? Yes, it gets better. The 4th episode I wasn't a fan of, but it settles in. It's like, I really feel like they should have taken the origin episode, put it in the middle of the show. Because the show is a lawyer show. It's a legal show. It's a legal, like it's a 90s lawyer sitcom show with feminism on the level of like a old school feminism, like from the 80s or even the 70s. On that note, because it's getting a little hot in here.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that
my film.
I will say that. Yeah, Oh,
this
okay.
week. It says film threatist AF. I remember I was at, where was I? I was at some swap meet in Pasadena, and I saw some gangly, skinny dude that I think if I breathed on him, he would have fell over, that had one of those handlebar mustaches. He looked like he probably was he was in the Antifa reserves because he wasn't strong enough to be in Antifa, this guy. And he was wearing a shirt that said feminist AF. No surprise to anyone. And as soon as I saw that, I said, we have to make a shirt that says film threatist AF, just to goof on that thing. Anyways, Alan, you were saying.
I think Retro Nerd Girl said it best. It feels very much like a TV show, especially when you get into the second, third, and fourth episodes.
Yeah, the other Marvel shows, I don't know what they're trying to be. The WandaVision show was like, okay, this is weird. The first 3 episodes I really liked, and then it was like, what is this show trying to be? What is this?
Mm-hmm. It takes such a drastic tone after the 3rd episode, because they had that gimmick going through it.
Right. The
and
gimmick.
Then and then it just kind of fell to the wayside at the end.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we're going to bring on a YouTuber that you may all be familiar with. His name is YellowFlash. YellowFlash does video. This guy is no bullshit. This is why I like watching YellowFlash. No bullshit, doesn't mince words, says what he thinks and doesn't give a F. And I love that about him. His show, The Flashcast, on Saturday nights is roaring up the charts. It's nerds talking shit. And what I love about YellowFlash is he's very inclusive. He's inclusive in the sense that the only kind of inclusion and diversity that matters is diversity of thought. He has on someone on the internet with some of the worst takes we've ever seen. His name is Lofty Pixels. And the fact that YellowFlash includes Lofty Pixels in his roundtable show on Saturday night's Flashcast, strong recommendation for that show. And subscribe to his channel. Bringing on YellowFlash onto the Film Threat livecast here. YellowFlash, how's it going today?
Good. Looking forward to talking about something I like.
For a change, yeah. We're wrapping up our discussion of She-Hulk. I saw your review this morning. You did not like the show, and that's great. I think we were just talking about how the first episode is the pilot show. It's the other shows that are like, the first episode is unlike all the other episodes, right? The other episodes, which Alan and I have seen the first 4, is just a 90s legal drama comedy. That's it. It's a lot of office politics. And the first episode, I feel like they should have run in the middle. But tell us your take, and then also people can go watch your review on your channel. I recommend they do that.
Oh, I actually didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it? Oh,
I watched all the cringy clips.
Oh, you watched the clips, but you went over the reviews. You went over the reviews.
Yeah.
It's mixed. It's mixed reviews. But
which is the best thing that Disney Plus has been able to do.
I don't want to watch it because that's 4 hours I won't get back.
Oh, well, there you go. But all right, well, let's go. We're going to go through hail YellowFlash, everybody. Flashcast is must-see TV, says Fat Elvis, of course. Law and Gamma SVU says X douchey McDouche X. Just Nova 1138 for 49. I don't mind the Disney comedy so much, obvious for kids. It's the overuse of negative sexist stereotyping. The writers need to focus on plot. Well, speaking of negative sexist stereotypes, wait until you meet Madison. She's this party girl, It's you might call her a slut in the show. I'm surprised. So if you're looking for negative stereotypes, there are both male and female negative stereotypes in the show. VDR says Hulk-splain, and Mr. Thing for 449 says, just watch the first She-Hulk episode. Really enjoyed it. It wasn't too woke. Made me smile, especially the scenes on the island. There's a line, and YellowFlash, no one else has brought this up. There's a line where She-Hulk, as Jennifer Walters goes in this bathroom, she binge She-Hulk, she's all disheveled from her clothes. These girls walk in, and it's all because the girls are all chattering, yelling. They're saying, oh, what did he do to you? Or she. And someone says, or they. But it's like underneath. No one else has brought this up. Like, I had to back it up and go, wait, did they just say they?
See, this show, my biggest problem with this show is the origin. Like, I don't like that they changed it so that she saves him, which is not the origin of this character, which did not need to be changed at all.
Right.
Like, what's wrong with him saving her with a blood transfusion? And then how is him trying to shoot himself in the head worse than catcalling's worse than him trying to kill himself at one point?
Well, I'll say this. She's a whiny bitch in that that little diatribe, right? She's a whiny bitch just trying to explain what it's like to be a woman, trying to explain. And I feel like she will learn lessons through the course of the show to perhaps be a bit less like that.
I wonder if she learned the lessons that his father taught him.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. But it's once it settles in, those first three, the first episode is a pilot, not like any of the other episodes. It's a 90s legal drama in the Marvel universe. Daredevil doesn't show up in those episodes, to be clear. But also, if history proves anything, every Disney Marvel show has shit the bed at the end.
Yeah, they all get bad.
Every single one, no matter how good they start out. And there are other ones I think that started out much better. I think the Winter Soldier and the Falcon, I think, started out that first episode pretty cool. WandaVision,
Yeah.
The first three were like, oh, this is good. They all started with potential. Hawkeye, I thought, was just, I don't know. I don't care. And at least we were talking earlier that this is a show called She-Hulk that's about She-Hulk instead of a show called Hawkeye, not about Hawkeye, or a show called Loki, not about Loki. So got to give it credit for that. But another movie is opening this weekend that I'm good. I'm seeing it actually again tonight. So I'm really looking forward to it. And Dragon Ball Superhero, I saw cold last week. Never seen anything Dragon Ball. I mean, I've seen clips and I've seen memes. And
Are you going to see it in Japanese?
No, I didn't buy the tickets. I'm seeing it.
Oh, okay.
I'm seeing it subbed, but I'm going with a buddy of mine and I'm taking my daughter. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. I will see I'm probably just going to buy it. I mean, I have Crunchyroll, so I assume it'll be on there in like a month or so. But YellowFlash, you are our expert. Explain to me, first of all, and how did I like come in cold? And I don't know everything, but I feel like I got caught up pretty quick. But what can you explain to me? What did I miss? Because you've seen it and you saw the Japanese version. Is that right?
Yeah, I prefer the Japanese version of the show. I liked it way before it got really discovered here in America.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like for a long time when the show came out here, like first they skipped Dragon Ball because there's Dragon Ball, then Dragon Ball Z, then Dragon Ball Super. There was Dragon Ball GT, but that doesn't count anymore. They wiped that out from existence. But for a long time it was syndicated like on odd times, that type of like film, like different markets, different times. So like I discovered it, and then for the longest time it was not shown. Like they didn't buy any new episodes because it didn't have a good time slot. And then they put it on Cartoon Network, and then they finally started to dub it over here. But in between that gap period, I ended up watching the whole thing. I just watched it in Japanese.
I just found it weird that I could see it cold. I will say this. I saw it with all anime fans. I saw it at this, preview screening premiere thing, but it was an audience. It wasn't celebrities. It was just fans. I mean, you could tell by the look of the crowd. Anime fans have a certain look. Wait, you were at Anime Matsuri, isn't that right?
Yeah. I'm an anime expert.
But I mean, it's so funny because I've never seen, obviously, I don't know what a lot of YouTubers look like, but it was hilarious when Jay was at your booth.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people got upset about
you.
that.
Oh my God.
I didn't help the situation either because I retweeted Jeremy's post, said it was great to meet you.
A quick aside before we get, why do you think, because I've been watching you for years. I've been watching Geeks and Gamers, Ryan when he came up, and Gary. I've watched Eric July. Why? First of all, I don't agree with everything everyone says, but I think I grew up at a time, or at least like, I like when people, part of the fun, and this is what makes your show Flashcast so much fun to watch, is people have all these opinions. The fact that Lofty Pixels is always playing like devil's advocate, this stuff is really funny. I don't know if he believes half the stuff coming out of his mouth.
He gets mad if you call him a contrarian, though.
but I like hearing other people's opinions. Why is it that, and this is what really kind of turned me around in 2018, Gary Beekler used this term I'd never heard before called political bigotry. And I was like, oh, wow. Like I've never even thought about that. Like, why is that become? So I don't get like why don't the haters realize they're wasting their own time by not liking something that you said as an opinion. I mean, I've dealt with this bullshit for years because I've been doing film threats in different forms. I'm fucking old, but what do you think they get out of that? Because I see people come after you and I don't understand. Like, do you realize you're wasting your time? Like, you can have a different opinion and just not do anything. So I don't know if you had thoughts on that. I just always want to ask you about it.
A lot of them, are looking for attention and clout.
Right.
And some people are just really weird. Like people like want me to die before because of my opinions on a fucking movie. Like, what is wrong with you? Like it's just a bunch of weirdos. I don't get it. Like, who cares? If you don't like someone's opinion, don't watch them or listen to them. These people will seek you out.
Yeah, like hate watch or something. But a lot of it, I think, is it's children and adult-sized bodies.
Yeah,
and they don't know how to handle. So I see a lot of it because they've come after me. I had a panel at WonderCon that was canceled called Fanfic Theater because someone posted the description of the panel on Tumblr, and all these young girls came after me. Turns out none of them were going to WonderCon, and only one girl showed up to the panel. And it's a panel where basically we take fanfic we find on the internet and we have actors and comedians read it and act it out. We get volunteers from the audience and we all goof on it. Well, the truth is we actually wrote all the fanfic. It was fake. and we just had friends of mine who were comedians. Adrian Curry was on the panel. John Schnepp was on the panel. And then we would get someone to write a piece of fanfic during the panel based on audience suggestions. It's like an improv thing. It's the first time in history Comic-Con, WonderCon has ever canceled a panel based on outrage. It even made the Hollywood Reporter and Variety wrote an article about it. And I was like, this is bullshit. Like I told them, I said, you shouldn't cancel this. Like, don't bow to that. It's just a small fringe group. And it literally was like 100 accounts. All of them, of course, anime, like I'm not disparaging anime, but it was all like these, like, avatars that weren't human is what I'm saying. And it was just irritating. Yeah. We ended up doing the panel anyways, but it was like a different thing, like channeling your creativity with some bullshit thing. But we kind of just did what we wanted to do anyways. So I just want to do as an aside. It's like, that's why I admire like people who just stick to their guns and have their opinion. And I don't care if yours differs from mine. I feel like it's an opportunity for me to learn when I'm listening to someone who's like, oh, I never looked at it that way. But can you walk me through, like, Piccolo was, I think, my favorite character in Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball has this weird mix of like the most serious events that are happening in the universe are happening right now, and we must solve this issue, and it's very, very serious. And then they'll make some bizarre butt joke.
that's like anime tropes.
I love it. I loved it.
It's a great series. I mean, it's a special series to me. Like I love that show, that franchise. Like, it's something, hard times in life, you find it and sit down and watch it. It makes you feel good. Like, I've been a fan of that series for decades. So it's amazing. And it's really a testament to the power of these characters that this has been going on for literally decades. I think it came out in Japan in like the 80s. It's been around for a long time. And it just shows you just like how it just resonates with people still. I mean, we're in 2020 and it's still going strong.
The anime that I've been familiar with, I'm embarrassed to say, my first exposure to anime was Legend of the Overfiend. Which, do you know what that is?
No, I don't think I've seen it.
Well, it's hentai. And it was sent to me on a VHS cassette from Stephen Bissett. I don't know if you know Stephen Bissett is the illustrator. He did Swamp Thing in the 80s with Alan Moore. And long story, I got to know Stephen Bissett because we were into trading bootleg videotapes. So he sent me Legend of the Overfiend. Then I, of course, discovered Akira in the 90s. And there have been many incarnations of Akira. Then Attack on Titan. and I've seen the Attack on Titan 2-part live action, which I actually think is not bad. And you realize Attack on Titan, the live action, is banned in China. Specifically,
there's a lot of anime that's banned over there. They have to censor it.
It's weird. It's weird that it's banned, but the message of it's like, oh yeah, like there's this sort of government conspiracy of like, don't go beyond the walls, right? It's like, they're being lied to, right? The population. It's really interesting stuff. I mean, the live action, it's okay. I like the first one, part 1, better than part 2, but it at least kind of like, it's cool to see that world. Yeah, the effects are kind of hit and miss, but you're getting a lot of love and questions in the chat. But can you, before we get to those, I don't know how long you can stay, but you'll let me know. But can you give me, like, if I'm going in cold, because Dragon Ball Superhero is opening this weekend, and I've never seen the series, what could you give me some refresher and just kind of tell me, like, what do I need to know going in?
Yeah, it's cool that you haven't seen anything and you sat down and watched it and liked it. It's hard to like do a TLDR on this franchise because there's literally hundreds of episodes. I mean, I think Dragon Ball is 150-ish, 80. Dragon Ball Z is 291. Super is like 100 episodes, and then there's like a few movies and stuff. There's a lot of shit for this series, but the basic stuff is there in it, like Gohan and Piccolo. Like Piccolo's kind of like a father figure to Gohan, which I think is a noticeable thing. Like he was, in my opinion, more of a father than his own dad, because Goku, as you see, what's he doing? He's off training, and Piccolo has always been around with him. I've always enjoyed that relationship. There's good stuff in their family themes in this one, which is always nice. Like, because you don't get that in a lot of entertainment anymore. So like Gohan being a good father. It's good stuff. But as far as like schooling, I mean, what kind of questions was there anything you were interested in the characters and you wanted to know about?
Well, I know they've changed. You're getting a
Piccolo used to be a villain, but he calls him King Piccolo.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying he's Kami. So like that's something that you would know in the show because he's literally fused with other people. So like he used to be, Kami's like the god of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So his old self used to be God, and then King Piccolo used to be part of Kami, but he split off the evil inside him. So he became like the villain of Dragon Ball. And then eventually him and Kami reunite. This is a lot to take in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
can I ask you this? Because I know zero about Dragon Ball. You know, what is it about the series that would compel me to want to jump in and give it a try? Is there something in there that really, you know, would kind of interest me, so to speak?
If you like really fun martial arts action, it's definitely got that in droves.
But it's also like so over the top, and also the mix of how they mix comedy, and they do it. This is a hard thing to do. It's action, but also comedy at the right moments, and it's clever. It's really clever. So yeah, I mean, I'm seeing it for a second time, and I want to see it with like, I want to just see it with another audience, right? And definitely I'll catch because my default setting is always subtitles, always the original language. Although it's interesting to see Akira go through I've seen so many different versions of Akira, and a friend of mine produced actually in the early 90s the version that came to the United States, the voice acting. It's like the first time to really get like good actors to do the voice. That version was great. But also you touched on YellowFlash family. I know you're a father. This could be called the Father Cast because we're all dads. And I've heard you on rare occasion, you'll bring up, you know, your relationship with your family and whatnot, where appropriate. You know, some YouTubers are very private about their private life, but you know, you speak around, and I love hearing that because you hit the nail on the head. There's so little family entertainment that actually basically promotes the idea of positive family. That just isn't around anymore. It's weird how that's just slowly disappeared from family entertainment, is the concept of a family itself. I was curious what you thought.
What the family theme in the movie?
Yeah, the family themes just sort of disappearing out of it. Used to be something that was just kind of.
Oh
the
yeah,
default
well,
setting.
I mean, in America, that's a big problem because a lot of families are broken here.
You don't want to
right.
offend people who are not
Yeah.
in a traditional nuclear family, so they just destroy it, basically.
Yeah, traditional, strong, masculine characters. You don't get
Yeah.
that really anymore. I mean, this is a part of the problem when you were touching on with these like children, adults, like they don't have father figures.
Yeah.
And it's put down that this isn't important. It's not. It's very important for children to have a good, strong male figure in their life.
Or ideally a strong male and a strong female figure. Because I feel like, especially when raising kids when they're young, single digit age, like under 10, you need to have that balance. I used to, with my kids when they were that age, this doesn't work on them now because they're older. They're in their 20s. So they're actually adults. But I used to call it going into dad mode when by the tone of my voice, they would be scared, like really scared. And I think there's a good, healthy fear children should have towards their parents. And by that meaning disappointing their parents. That's a good, healthy fear.
Yeah, I agree.
Makes you want to like do your homework, be a good person, make good moral choices when they're not looking. You know what I mean? Like these are all good things. The fact that this has now been distilled and even mocked is kind of sickening to see happening in real time. You got to. So
Dragon Ball didn't always have good father themes.
Okay, well, yeah.
When they did that little recap, which I liked, that recap was actually really nice, where they recapped the Red Ribbon Army.
Yes, at the beginning.
When they said the fight with Cell came at great cost, well, that's because Goku dies. That's Gohan's father. And in this series, you can just bring people, like death doesn't really matter. You can just bring people back to life with the Dragon Balls. And so when Goku dies, like that's like Gohan's like best moment in that series. He chooses not to come back. He says, "Don't revive me," and leaves his son alone for like 7 years. And the reason that he stays dead is because he doesn't want to like bring more drama with villains to the earth. But it's like he abandons his son because he doesn't have anything else to teach him because he's stronger than him. And he never contacts him for 7 years. This is like a running joke. This is why Piccolo's a better father than him. He could have called him every day, like over that 7-year period, and he never does because he's hanging out with King Kai, who can literally contact people, and he never does. He just doesn't give a shit.
Let's go to some comments here. First time I watched Dragon Ball, it was in Italian. That's funny. I want to see Gohan Unleashed, says Ferg Turgeson. Patrick Lemire says, "Hail YellowFlash. What's a good anime entry point for noobs?"
Dragon Ball. It's the gateway drug.
Flaccid Phoenix asks, what do you think of the 2 new transformations in this movie, YellowFlash?
I liked them, though no one's talking about Orange Piccolo. Everyone talks about Blanco Gohan or whatever they're going to call him.
Right.
I don't know what they're going to call him. It's either Beast Gohan or Ultimate. No, not Ultimate Gohan, but Blanco Gohan. One of those two. I love that form. I like the red eyes and I like the silver hair. He kind of just looks like a serious fighter, which is what I liked about Ultimate Gohan, the black-haired form where he doesn't have gold hair anymore.
Let's see, Rex Lumenton says, Gohan and Piccolo, the MVP. Chicago Box says, need Gore on Flashcast. I've been on it like twice. Once I kind of just jumped on. Then another time I had come back from the bar, was drunk. That Star Wars girl invited me, and I think I fell asleep on your show.
Yeah, I think you did.
I did. And then it was like everyone went away, and there was Nick Rekieta and I. And he's like, "Are you good, man? Are you okay?" And I was just like, "Oh, no. I was like, I'm fine. I'm fine." And I was just like, I don't know, I was so mad at like stuff that Lofty Pixels was saying. But I think that's kind of his role. He's the cousin Oliver of Flashcast. He's literally cousin Oliver.
Anna called him the whipping boy.
Yeah, for sure. But he you know what? He deserves a little credit. He's a good sport. He's a good sport. And that's like the whole thing is, look, if you can give it out, you got to be able to dish it out. You got to take it. He takes it well. Dempsey says, is this movie canonical?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. And
I wish they do. I wish they just do movies instead of going back. They're gonna. From the rumor is they're gonna do Dragon Ball Super again. I wish they just do these movies every other year instead of doing another series, because Dragon Ball Super is not very good. The series, the movies are good, but the series is it exists to sell toys. This is why there's all these new transformations, because it's for merchandise and toys. But I mean, that's the business, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Retro Gamer says Gohan isn't exactly the best dad himself, given Piccolo is literally raising Pan without Videl. So there you go. I like Orange.
At least
Piccolo.
he's there, though.
Right.
Goku is not there.
Retro Gamer goes on to say, I like Orange Piccolo. It's simple, but it works. Midnight Mike says, Gohan using the special beam cannon was epic. Yes. And Dempsey, a member, says Goku saves the world, dies, then comes back, saves the world again, rinse and repeat. Other people are around too. It plays out better than it sounds. And Gohan saved the world once too. So Midnight Mike says, I saw Dragon Ball Super last night. Superhero last night. It was pretty awesome. Yeah, I want to see it with a crowd. I saw it with a crowd. I want to see it with another crowd.
See, one of the biggest criticisms of this movie, though, is Gohan, and Piccolo being front and center, because people want Goku and Vegeta, and that's just interesting seeing you see it, because you don't have all of that with the series, and you just liked it, but it didn't do well in Japan. This movie, it's out of all the modern movies, this one did the worst. And I'm curious to see how it will play out here, because the marketing really hasn't been there for it.
Right.
And I know people say Fortnite, but not everybody plays Fortnite. I mean, a lot of there's all ages fans for this franchise, because you have people that are young and older who have been with it forever. And I don't play Fortnite.
Yeah, same
Now,
here.
if I wasn't paying attention to this shit, I wouldn't even known this movie had just came out.
Bilbo Swaggin for 5 says, finally able to watch you live. Love you, Chris and Alan. I love refrigerators too, Flash. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you, Bilbo. Appreciate that. And 218. Wait, yeah, that's right. That's 218. Trying to read it. 218 says, I remember buying DBZ
Me too.
bootlegs, subs in Chinatown, because the only place I could get the movies, they were copies of copies of copies.
Me too. That's how I watched it. 218. Hello, my friend. Me and you would have a good conversation about those days. They call them fan subs.
Fan subs. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, they would take this shit off of Japanese TV, because the show was never on physical media in Japan. So people would take it, and you would see the Japanese commercials in there, and they would translate it and then put it on VHS tapes.
Wow.
And they circulated around, because this is before the internet was a big thing. That's how I watched this series, was on fan sub, through fan subs. This is a crazy time, man.
Can you get that stuff on YouTube? I mean, I assume it's on YouTube. Some of it.
Yeah, you can find the commercials on there. They're on there now, but I mean, it's just it was a simpler time of bad quality. Remember the bad VHS tapes with the the static run up and down. It was a fun time, man.
Classic Phoenix says, I was surprised how well this new animation style held up throughout the movie. Yeah, they use this thing where it's sort of partly digital, where it's kind of has a 3D look, but it's still it's a mix of 3D and 2D.
Yeah, I like it.
Great. I like it.
It's getting a lot of criticism, because Dragon Ball Broly, which was the last movie, was all 2D, hand drawn, or whatever. I'm sure they used computers in there too, but it looked better. Yeah. It's more traditional style. But I thought this was it looked fine to me. It looked really good in a lot of cases. I think this is a good example of CGI done right.
Yes.
And while people want to criticize it, this was probably a lot cheaper to make than that hand drawn stuff. And as much as I know a lot of us like that style, I mean, you got to think of it from a business standpoint. At least it didn't look terrible.
Yeah.
It looked good for CGI. I was happy with it. I thought some of the stuff looked really good.
It's better than the CG in this movie Beast that I can't recommend, that opens this weekend. What a terrible film. Patrick Lemire says, this is blowing my mind. A franchise that adds fans while keeping old ones. Crazy.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. Weird. Retro Gamer, what? I thought everyone wanted other characters to do something other than Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it. But some people don't like that. I love Gohan and Piccolo. I had a lot of fun seeing them shine, and Krillin gets in there, number 18. Trunks and Goten get in there with their failed fusion, which was funny.
Yeah,
Like so you didn't even get to see that. Like they have a perfect form, but the reason they mess it up is because they're lazy and they didn't train. And when you mess up the fusion, you get that fat one or like a sick, skinny looking version.
JK Nonstop Crazy Talk says Gohan got the transformation he deserved after all these years. So, and Retro Nerd Girl says, I am learning so much. I know nothing about Dragon Ball. I did see the live action movie in the aughts. Yeah. What did you think of the live action movie?
Fucking trash.
Was that an American production or
yeah?
was it Japanese?
What's
well,
interesting?
There you
go. Dan Fraga. Do you know who that is?
No.
He's in Comicsgate. He worked on that movie. He did the storyboard, and he said they really changed it. Like they changed it tremendous. Like 75% of it just got changed at the last minute.
Yeah. Abomination AJ says, I criticize Dragon Ball just like the MCU. Terrible writing everywhere and seemingly forgetting what came before. My whole argument with the MCU is they just should have stopped after Endgame, maybe one sort of like epilogue like movie, but there's a reason I think Star Wars has sustained. I'm not talking about the new Star Wars. Kenobi might have been the worst Star Wars we've ever seen, and that's saying something because of the sequel movies. But George Lucas was smart to okay, I made these movies, it's going to go away. Then it's going to come back, and then people are going to want it back. I really think they should have just stopped, or they just should have gone back in the 60s, made a 60s accurate Fantastic Four, X-Men, and just told a different story, and then do a decade's worth of stories from the 1960s, different Marvel characters, and then maybe something else. I don't know. I just think having it go forever is going to be diminishing returns. I just think in general, the MCU and this whole direction of just let's just do female versions of all the characters. To me, my argument is She-Hulk is the most likable of all the female characters that they've since Black Widow, because Brie Larson as Captain Marvel is insufferable. Brie Larson is unlikable as an actress, just as a person, right? That terrible speech she gave about white guys. And I'm just look, no one would argue that more people at the table, that's a good thing, but you're going to take a certain group that has been covering films for years, very passionate, it's not like movie critics have butlers. No one gets rich off that job. Okay. Nobody. But my God, it's just, incredibly unlikable female characters, female Hawkeye, female Loki, female insert. And I think She-Hulk's the first one, at least from where I sit. She's likable in the same way that Peter Parker's likable, because he can't catch a break. He's got a shitty boss, can't catch a break. And Jen Walters, as you'll see when the series goes, she just can't catch a break. And she's not the bestest ever. And you can't say that about all the other female characters they brought into the MCU. They're all the bestest ever and can do no wrong and are great all the time and are awesome all the time. And that's not the case. She has flaws and isn't perfect and screws up, and bad things happen to her with consequences. And that's just not the case. Just not to, that was a divert, a severe divert. So apologies for that.
Back to Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Back to Dragon Ball. Hector Lopez says, I just thought the Cell villain was underwhelming. All
yeah,
right.
I kind of agree with that. I wish they had done more with him, but I really liked the Gammas.
Yeah,
I thought the Gammas were great. Yeah,
the Gamma 1 and 2 was so fun.
I like Dr. Hito as well.
Yeah,
he's great. These are characters. Well, one of them I don't know if we should. At least one of the Gammas will be sticking around.
Yeah, there you go. At least one. Veggie says live action DB on par with The Last Jedi. There you go. Daniel's a member, says if you weren't watching live in 1999, you kind of missed out on the DBZ craze at the time. It was super fun to watch with people.
Oh, it's huge.
The Frieza saga. So there you go.
So at watching this movie, do you feel that you might be interested in watching the series?
Yes, but what I would just do is go on Crunchyroll and just go, okay, here's a series and just binge it. right? Like that's probably the best way. And I think I would just pay for Crunchyroll because I can't stand. I don't mind commercials on streaming services. I don't want to see the same Geico commercial 7 times in a row. I just don't.
So this is a controversial opinion.
Let's hear it.
I would highly recommend you just watch Dragon Ball Kai.
Dragon Ball Kai. Okay.
It's shorter than Z. And what they do, so people are going to they say it's heavily edited. That's the Nickelodeon TV made version.
Yeah.
The unedited version, which is probably what's on Crunchyroll, is much better. And what they do is, so Dragon Ball Z was keeping up with a manga. So they had to add tons of filler. So there's a lot of stuff in that just kind of slows it down, like powering up for 5 episodes. So in Kai, Kai moves real quick and the story pacing is so much better. I would recommend you watch that version. Well, I think you'll like it a lot better. I'm
glad that you said this is a controversial opinion.
It is a very controversial opinion.
The Bad Bandito says, "The fuck? Revenge of the Netherrealm, YellowFlash, fuck no, Retro Gamer, fuck Kai, Rascal, don't watch Kai though, his dog poo, Flash
I think it's better.
Mind.
See, I told you, it's a controversial, both series are there, and I like them both, but Kai just moves so much faster.
Look,
so much faster.
Well, if it moves faster, I'll be done with it quicker. So there you go. Hector Lopez says, yeah, the Gammas were actually good. Retro Gamer says Android 21 cameo at the beginning of the movie. So, and then Flaccid Phoenix asks, what do you want to see out of Dragon Ball Super moving forward?
Better writing.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's not a high bar. It's just, I could complain about this show so much because it's kind of like the MCU shows, because some of it will start off really good and then it'll go incredibly south. Like they bring back Future Trunks in Dragon Ball Super, who's a very loved character. You got to see him for a second. He's the guy that split that guy up with a sword. That's you saw that 3-second scene.
Yeah.
Like that's a very loved character, and they bring him back, and the hype for that was real. And it started off really good, where he basically the villain is an evil Goku, and some of the stuff in that was really dark and really good. And then the ending was just absolute dog shit. Like I'd like to see them like pick that up. And some of the stuff in the manga, because the manga is still running, some of it's been really good, like the Black Frieza that just dropped today. I thought that was pretty good. Like I want to see stuff get better, because I like seeing new Dragon Ball, but they really got it. This is why I'd rather them just do movies, because I think the movies, like, they keep it tight and it's much better. Like Broly was a great movie. This was a great movie. I liked the 2 before it, the Battle of the Gods and the Frieza movie. I liked all of the movies, but the show is just really hit or miss. Dragon Ball Super is really hit or miss. Z is great. Like, highly recommend you go back and watch that. But Super's tough. Super's a little tough at points. Well,
I like controversial opinions just because I will get caught having one on occasion more often than not. So yeah, I think even though the chat hates it, I'm probably going to start with Kai based on your recommendation. I'm going to start with Kai on Crunchyroll.
I can hear the collective groan right now.
I don't know if it's on Crunchyroll. I don't have Crunchyroll.
Oh, okay.
I have all of these. I have all this on physical media.
Isn't Crunchyroll free?
I think there's a free aspect of it.
I think it's free
but
with
it's limited. There's not a big library in the free.
The
free version, I believe.
Let's actually take a look at Dragon Ball Kai. Here's the scene. My nipples look like milk duds. There you go, Alan. Your nipples look like milk duds. There you go.
I love my nipples.
Cool. All right, more chat. The chat's on fire. You must have brought it. YellowFlash. Here you go.
Controversial opinion.
Yeah, there you go. Abomination AJ, smoother, cleaner animation.
Yeah, they cleaned it up. Did AJ like it? I didn't see it. I like AJ. He's got a nice little channel.
Cool. Subscribe to AJ's channel. This is how it was kind of like FNT, like introduced me to a lot of people. I think, but it's also like things that get recommended. If I'm looking up a certain piece of content, I'll have someone recommended. Then I'm like, well, do they have like interesting opinions? I don't care if I always agree. That's boring. Ratzel, Flash is a heathen. Big
By the way,
Rod,
Dragon Ball Kai.
No.
Dragon Ball Kai is on Amazon Prime.
it's on Amazon. All right.
It's
I've
on
got
Amazon
that.
Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, to buy it or to watch it for free?
To watch it, to stream it.
Do you have to buy it?
You have to have the subscription. Yes.
Oh, damn.
I have Amazon Prime, but
Let me check.
Kai-
I mean,
like you might have to
Oh,
pay
hold
for
on.
the season.
yeah, I think you do have to buy
Yep.
it. Yeah, you do. You have to pay for it.
Look up
Season
that,
1 is $62.
Look at that app, Just Watch. So
Yeah, that's where I got it from.
There's ways to watch it for free. I assure you.
yes, I don't want to say what they are, but I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Maybe a Cody thing. Cody, forget it. Big Raj says, any fast versions of the original Dragon Ball? Lol.
No, read the
Yeah.
manga.
Yeah, there you go. Mr.
Manga's
X,
only like 100 chapters. I don't remember exactly the number, but it's fun read. I would highly recommend reading it.
Mr. X says, we Latin Americans worship Dragon Ball.
Yes,
I remember
probably
Sorry.
the second biggest market.
Wow. I remember seeing the final fight of Dragon Ball Super on an open theater along with my whole neighborhood. Good times. And J-Rod, the Lorad, who's a member, thank you for that. Watch Dragon Ball better than Z. And Dino's reviews is recommending pay for Crunchyroll because the ads are annoying. I pay like for like certain things like Shudder. I like Shudder because I like weird horror. There's also Full Moon Entertainment has a streaming service and it's super cheap. So there's a lot of like, everyone thinks, oh, HBO Max. It's like, yeah, whatever. Like pay for it when there's something you want to see, those larger streaming services. But I like to like Trauma Now has like, and they've got like these huge back libraries of crazy stuff. Like Full Moon has all this Italian exploitation movies, which are awesome. And then all the Puppet Master series, if you're into stuff like that. But before we let you go, because we're doing what we do is on our shows, we do reviews of movies opening in theaters, then we interview independent filmmakers. So we have some filmmakers coming on to talk about their movies. But YellowFlash, if you could plug your channel, tell us for anyone who's never watched Flashcast, can you describe it?
Oh, sometimes it can be a little bit of a shit show.
That's the charm. That's the charm. That's why I love it. When it goes wrong, it's great. And last Saturday, if I could, because what's interesting is what I like is, entertainment, movies, TV shows, whatever. It's a gateway to talk about anything. You could talk about family. You could talk about life. You can talk about loss of a loved one. You could talk about a running theme, and you've done it more than once, is just talking about the difficulty that single people are having with relationships these days.
Yeah.
And your deep dive conversations about that have been incredible.
It's so much different now than it used to be.
Oh my God.
Like these apps, like I wouldn't even want to mess with these dating apps at all. Like for me,
Yeah.
it was so much different. Even like the college days are different, like now it's like if you go up and talk to a girl and she doesn't find you attractive, you're risking sexual harassment.
Yeah, just because you talked to her, asked her out on a date. And I'm like super old school, So although, look, I've had a girlfriend it's going on 7 years now. 7 years. Probably need to lock that up. But yeah, and we're, I feel for my friends, like I often have said, I would not wish being single in LA on Hitler. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it's crazy. Like, and there's even like, I mean, I noticed this years ago. This is like 5-6 years ago. Dating is broken. It's so bad now. And I have friends of mine that they will not, that's why I almost want to, like, whenever you talk about this topic, I kind of want to jump in, but like I have friends of mine that like will not date American girls, right? They'll date like women who are from other countries or women that are recently here because they know better how to treat men, that there's more of a respect. There are more things that are expected in the relationship, and it's much more traditional. Whereas sort of this like batshit sort of like, I'm a queen and I should be, it's like, and what did I see? Like, who was it who said recently, a lot of it is, and this goes for men and women, there's just a profound lack of skills, basic skills. And I'll just speak, when I was single and dating, I would make breakfast for a woman and it was like I performed a magic trick. Like, I just made the basic stuff. Like, these are skills. Like, look, I know how to sew on a button. I can change an oil in a car. I mean, now you can't work on cars because they're all need a computer to diagnose.
The oil's still easy to do.
The oil you can.
The problem with oil changing, on my motorcycles, I change all the stuff, but that's easy to do. On a car, the biggest problem is getting underneath it.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Unless you have you need to get something to lift it up a little bit. You know those little ramps.
Yeah.
That's the biggest pain in the ass is going underneath the car.
Well, now you buy cars in the first 100,000 miles, the service is free. But I used to have a 1972 Triumph Daytona 500, which I stripped to the frame, put back together. And when you start a project like that, if one thing oh, wow, the gas tank is newly painted, it looks clean, and then everything else looks like shit. So you have to replace all the parts like Frankenstein. But yeah, I stopped riding my motorcycle in LA because people drive like idiots. But I saved so much money on insurance and gas. But I have 2 friends that have permanent limps because they got hit by cars. People in LA, I mean, and this is before people just look on their phones. That's why there's traffic in LA, because people are morons and inconsiderate assholes. I would say both in and out of the cars, but whatever. So cool. You ride a motorcycle. Sweet.
Yeah. For a long time. I love bikes. Been riding them for at least 15 years.
Wow. Another comment here. Grim says Flashcast equals Lofty Pixels well-deserved dog pile.
Sounds like just a view for some reason.
I want to talk about this movie tomorrow, but I don't know if any of us watched it.
What's that?
The superhero movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, talk about it. Look, we have a guest coming on in 5-10 minutes here, but just give us your quick capsule.
Oh, I mean, I wanted to talk about it in a Flashcast. Oh, I didn't hear.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, save it for that.
But I'm here to talk about it. So it's a fun movie. If you like Dragon Ball, I think you'll like the movie. I mean, it's good entertainment. It's a reason to go to the movie theaters, which you really don't get anymore. I'm surprised that this is even getting the release. They're giving it premium tickets. It's an IMAX. It's in all the D box, all that stuff. It's kind of impressive to see it get this kind of, I would say, respect. I think it's great that the Japanese version is in theaters. That blew me away that they even gave us that option, because that's never been done with this franchise. But it's fun. It's not woke.
Oh, 100%. There's zero about it. It's just entertaining. It's so funny how every movie we review now, we have to precede it with, it's how woke is it? I mean, Top Gun Maverick, I would say, is zero woke.
Yeah,
the Northman isn't woke. I mean, just because you have women that are powerful, it doesn't mean it's woke, right?
I didn't like the Northman.
I liked it. It's definitely one that gets better on repeat viewing. It's super fucked up too.
The problem I had with it is I thought it was going to be this army battle movie. Yeah. The way the trailers were putting the movie out is him walking through a village killing people.
Right.
And it's the first 10 minutes, and then he's a slave for the whole movie. I'm what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I felt kind of swindled.
No,
it was a mushroom trip.
Yeah, it is. It's very drug influenced. Midnight Mike says, I saw it in IMAX. Big Raj with $1.99 super sticker. Appreciate that. Revenge of the Netherrealm has become a member. Thank you for that. So are you going to take your family to see it in the theater?
I did yesterday.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool. Yeah. All right.
Watched it in Japanese.
Nice. It is. It's weird because
I had to drive an hour for that, by the way.
Oh, it says dubbed and subbed on all the posters. So you definitely have to pay attention to what screening you're booking.
You could, they don't really, on the thing when I was looking at it, it says subbed showing.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see some people probably walking in there not knowing what they're walking into.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
But I like that they're doing that. I saw the Jujutsu Kaisen movie that came out, and I actually thought that was going to be dubbed, and it was subbed. I was very happy. I like that they're doing this now, that they're giving us that option.
Nice. But YellowFlash, thank you for doing the show. I want to also remind everybody, if you're not subscribed to YellowFlash's channel, also your coverage of, here's where you go. Real simple, YellowFlash Productions. Look for that. You've done a lot of coverage of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard stuff. It was between you, and that Umbrella guy and Nick Rekieta. That was like my thing. Was like you guys had to me the best analysis and coverage and really on top of all that. So, and I don't think that's going away.
No, it's still a thing. And the trial's been over forever, but there's always something going on to talk about with it. It's crazy. Like now they're trying to ban channels again.
Why?
Because these people that worship her are insane.
The logic is
they actually got YouTube to respond to one of these threads too, which is bullshit because Nick Rekieta was on a 7-day suspension and it turned into 10 for some reason because YouTube didn't fix it. And he has 122,000 followers on Twitter. Could not get Team YouTube to respond. But this Amber Turd fan got them to have a back and forth with her. Isn't that bullshit?
Well, it's typical.
And they make big money off of him because they take, what do they take up from our super chats? 30%?
Yeah, 30%.
Imagine how much they make off of his show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So and they just ignored him.
It's just annoying when you hear so many of the things where someone got canceled or this got canceled or whatever. It's always a small percentage of loud people. Like when the Daily Wire lost like their Razor sponsorship, it was one Twitter account. One Twitter account complained. And I think that this is where, because we've had people complain about stuff that we do at Film Thread, and I just usually say, fuck off. Because I don't care.
Good.
Like we reviewed, I think we were like the only, even Matt Walsh gave us like a shout out and said one of the only mainstream outlets to cover What Is a Woman was Film Threat. Now, I've never considered Film Threat mainstream. We are not a mainstream outlet. So all we did was review. That's all we did was review What Is a These cowardly fucking critics won't even like review it. And we're, it's just like, look, it's a movie that's coming out. It is important. And I think we should review it. So we reviewed it on the website, on the channel, and our outlet, the website is a Rotten Tomatoes thing. So we're on Rotten Tomatoes. But I was just surprised, like there are like 5 reviews of that movie, and that's it.
Yeah, they won't touch it. Just like there's not a lot of reviews of Revenge of what was Gina Carano's movie called? Terror on the Prairie.
Terror on the Prairie. Yeah, we reviewed that too.
Yeah, they don't want to give any attention to this stuff.
Or that movie Shut In. We do this goofy award show. It's like a parody of an award show, but we actually genuinely give awards to small indie movies. We Shut In one for best indie thriller, and there's like stuff that you could consider woke, that's stuff that's like very non-woke. There's like really good documentaries on all sides of the political spectrum. One that I would recommend to you called The United States of Insanity, which is about it's about Insane Clown Posse and their fight with the FBI. I don't know if you know about that.
I know who they are.
The FBI like classified Insane
with
Clown
Juggalos.
Bands, Juggalos as a gang, and people lost their jobs. They lost their livelihoods. They were like, you're just a fan of a band and you go to an event to see ICP and suddenly you're on like an FBI list. They fought.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
So watch this doc. It's 10 years that they fought this. This is why I keep saying, like, a lot of this stuff where people come after you or Nerdrotic or whatever, it's just like, you gotta, like, as far as I'm concerned, like, how do you get rid of a playground bully? You punch him in the nose. I'm sorry, you got to fight back now. I'm like, enough. I'm tired of seeing people like yourself, among others, being lied about, like literally just outright lies. It's infuriating. So I'm used to it. They've talked shit about me for years, decades. So I don't give a fuck. but you got to keep fighting the good fight. That YellowFlash, thanks for being here. We got our special filmmaker guests coming on. I have to have you on. I'll come on Flashcast if you think. Usually I'm doing something on Saturdays. I'm usually out on Saturdays, but I'll be like at my local bar in Pasadena, and I'll have my earbuds in. I'll just be like AirPods or whatever, and I'll just be listening to your show. So,
I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll get you on again for sure. I've asked you a couple times. We'll get you on. We'll get you on soon.
I usually will message like that Star Wars girl will say, because I'm literally listening or watching, and I'm like, oh, I'll have like a comment, but I'm just, what can I say? Anyways, thank you so much for being on the show, YellowFlash, and appreciate you taking your morning to hang out. Morning, or I don't know what time zone you're in.
Eastern Standard Time, so it's about almost 2 o'clock.
Okay, cool. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Everybody loves you.
Everyone go see the movie in Japanese.
Yes. See it in Japanese. I've already seen it in English. I don't know what I'm seeing it in. A friend of mine bought the tickets. I assume
probably seen it in English.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
all
that's what you people do.
All right. Take care. See you soon.
See ya.
Later. Thanks.
Bye.
What a great dude. What a great
I know.
Dude.
I mean, my daughter and I have been talking about, well, she had no desire, but I think after talking to you and listening to it, it's worth a shot.
I think Audrey will like it, and we need a review on the website.
Mm-hmm.
We've discussed it here. We need a review on the website because it's okay. It's and again, so you don't know Dragon Ball.
I know zero. I've seen the video game. That's as far as it goes.
Right. Well, I really want to hear what you and we'll talk about it next Wednesday, perhaps. So when are you back from Cinequest?
Back on Sunday. So we have a few more weeks before school starts. So
gotcha.
There's time.
Great. William Owen says, thanks, Drunk 3PO. I love Drunk 3PO. Jay is like, I got to have you on my show. A lot of it is like, time is like, my life is very scheduled. Scott Slaughterbeck, Chris has a life. Yes. It's mostly going to see movies, watching movies while I'm doing like inconsequential BS project management. A lot of my job is project management. That's making films, that's fundraising, that's like running the business of Film Thread, planning like our award show and other stuff that we do. We're doing a monthly, where we're sponsoring a monthly series at the Frida Cinema. Alan was there on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's great. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Flash, says Goober. Gotham Bat, it's cool that all my YouTubers know each other. Yeah, it's sort of eventually, it's usually, here's how it happens, Gotham Bat. I'll be watching Ryan Cannell and I'll like comment. And then people recognize that it's me and they're like, hey, Chris Gore is in the chat. And then he'll highlight my comment. I'm like, oh, no, I just want to like comment on what you're saying. I didn't want to be a part of the show. So it's a little embarrassing for me sometimes. I actually will hold back posting in chat because I don't want to like derail stuff from the conversation.
You just want to lurk. Basically.
I just want to lurk, but I don't want, but a lot of times like they'll be talking about something like on FNT. And it's like, I know something about that. Like, I know what happened with that specifically, or I know about like, say how SAG contracts work. SAG has different levels of contracts, right? SAG Indie, SAG, there's reasons they saved a lot of money with Batgirl. And it's not just because of the cost to release Batgirl, but like the payouts that they would have had to do to talent and whatnot. So, yeah. And then there you go. Holy Hand Grenades. Holy Hand Grenade says, Alan's daughter is more based than him.
Yeah, I mean she's way into My Hero Academia, which I never do.
Really?
Really? Yeah, she loves that. Growing up, she was all into My Little Pony, and now she's embarrassed to admit it to her friends.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna get Tim is gonna be coming on very shortly here. The director of Manbaby, which is an indie comedy that is out now on, I think it's out on digital. Is that right, Alan?
Yes.
All right. It's out on digital. Our special
if
guest,
there was a theatrical release, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. He'll be joining us any minute.
Yes.
Any minute, unless there was it's happened before where like someone is canceled, like right in the middle of the show happening. It sometimes happens. I don't see. I'm going to check my email right now. But also the other thing is I want to plug a couple of things before Tim comes on real quick. Want to let you know that if you want free stuff, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Film Threat 5042 Wilshire Boulevard, like a shire, Wilshire, PMB 1500, Los Angeles, California, 90036. I'll send you a sticker. And if you send me a large enough envelope, I'll send you some other stuff. And subscribe to our email newsletter for Film Threat. You'll get alerts like when we go live. Go to filmthreat.com/newsletter. Also, like, share, subscribe to this channel. If you are new to the channel, definitely subscribe if you are new, and then click the bell for notifications.
Oh, wow.
And as Alan is fond of saying,
My nipples look like milk duds.
there you go. Alan, your nipples look like milk duds. Glenn, thank you for that video. Was it who sent that video? Was it Glenn?
Was that Glenn? That could have been Glenn.
We'll talk after the show. We'll talk probably before the show ends. But you know the things. We're Film Threat on everything. Let's bring on director Tim Lytel is here. He is the director of Manbaby, an indie comedy.
What's up, guys?
Hey,
Hey,
how's
Tim.
it going, Tim?
Good to see you. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I'm a little starstruck because I do like this show, you know, and so
Oh,
it's
you
great
do?
to be here. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Thank you so much. I'm not a Patreon. I'm not a subscriber, but I love it.
Oh, whatever. That's okay. You're
Yeah.
not a Patreon subscriber.
I use my money
but-
to make movies, not support you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, it's expensive. To be an indie filmmaker is expensive. At every turn, they're shaking you down for some kind of money. But
It's
if
true.
you like the show, you probably like.
I mean, if that's not a movie, I don't know what is.
Well, it fits with the standee that you have in the background, which you made. But tell us about Manbaby, and please correct me if I'm wrong. It is out now on video on demand.
It's on video on demand, and we have a theatrical release, guys.
Oh.
Don't forget the theatrical
Oh.
release. We had a sellout crowd 2 nights
Where?
ago in Seattle.
Sweet.
We are in Seattle and Los Angeles and Portland. So
Nice.
yeah, I mean, people are responding to this. They are loving it. It was you know, they say rolling in the aisles. There were a lot of alcohol was consumed, and I think that's why probably. But you know, pretty successful show, big sellout. Manbaby's the story of Sal Howard, who's a comedian. He wants a child, his wife does not, so he comes up with a harebrained scheme to teach her to be a mommy, and that scheme is that he's going to pretend to be a baby. But things spiral madly out of control, and the movie really takes a couple crazy twists and turns that everybody comments on. It's art adjacent is what I call this movie. It's not quite a comedy, it's not quite a sci-fi, it's art adjacent.
Well, it's
And
also
I'm really
like-
proud of it. I'm really happy that I got to make it. It took 8 years to make this
Oh,
thing. My day job is video marketing, so I make movies a lot, but this is my biggest this is my first like commercial feature. So like my other 2 features have been more art films, I'd say even closer to avant-garde. This is an attempt to make a narrative Hollywood movie, and yeah, that's Manbaby. I hope people come out and see it. So we're in LA. We're going to be in LA next week, next Friday and Saturday night. We've got late shows at the Laemmle Royal in Santa Monica. So I'm real excited about that. I'm going to be there. I hope some of the listeners will be there too, and they can throw tomatoes at me or shake my hand, whatever.
Well, so recommend seeing it in the theater, and then
Recommend.
also checking it out on VOD if you're not able to make the screening at the Laemmle in Santa Monica, and you'll be there for a Q&A.
Yeah, I'm going to be there. You know, anybody can ask me any questions, figure out why we did it. Do you guys have any questions? I know, Alan, you
Yes,
watched
I
it.
wanna
What did
know,
you,
why
do you have any
did you-
questions?
Because this, my first thought upon seeing all that, and I'll admit I have not seen the movie. Alan has seen the movie, but like my first thought on seeing it is this about the sexual fetish of dressing like a baby? Because that is a real thing. Don't ask me why I know that exists. I
I'll
just
tell
know
you-
that it exists. It's like, what do they call that rule? It's like, you know, what is the thing of the rule on the internet? As someone
He who smelt it dealt it. Is that the one?
no,
Don't
no.
Google it. That's the rule.
No, it's like
if you're scared
rule-
of it, don't Google it.
It's like there is a fetish like clown shoes or whatever,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
doesn't have anything to do with that.
Yes. So it's a great question. That was the origin of the movie. So it is a passion project, and I worked in adult entertainment. Our biggest seller 8 years ago, when I was doing fetish clips, the biggest sellers were ABDL, which is adult baby diaper lovers. I'm getting a little slapback or something. I don't know. Somebody's got their anyway. That's the origin. So that was the biggest seller. These diaper fetish videos were the biggest sellers. And I said, how can I take something that I know there's an audience for? There's a built-in audience for this. There's a fetish for this. People are going to buy this no matter what, because they have that fetish, right? So it's a little bit like mercenary on my part, a little bit cynical. But then how can I take this and make it into kind of a mainstream, something that kind of everybody can enjoy? And I think kind of everybody can enjoy this movie. It's actually not about the fetish at all. It's not a sex movie. There's brief nudity. There's one butt shot. There's absolutely no swearing in this movie. And I think it's quite bittersweet. It's a movie with a lot of heart. A friend of mine wrote a piece about the movie The Devil's Rejects. You guys fans of that movie?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I know that.
So yeah, this is not about my movie. He said that movie was a loogie straight from the heart. And that's how I feel about Manbaby. I feel like this is my loogie straight from my heart.
Well, you're getting a lot of love and questions here. Let's go through them real quick, because there's a lot. Solomon Thornton says, Sir Tim, welcome. Hello, Tim, says Akanika, the member. Kara says, hello, Tim. And Holy Hand Grenade says, sounds great. And Scott Slaughterbeck says, you kind of answered this a little bit, but where the heck did you come up with this idea?
Like I said, it was my job. So, this was my job to make femdom and women diapering men videos, and those were the biggest sellers. So it was a very kind of just commercial idea, not motivated by any passion other than the passion for money.
And JK Nonstop Crazy Talk says, a standing interview, high energy. So there you go.
I do some jumping jacks to really get this guy into it?
Yeah, and then let's see. Kara asks, how big was the budget?
The budget's evolving. It's an evolving thing. We did a Kickstarter, which got me some money to get it started. My parents decided to match that Kickstarter, which very gracious to Mr. and Mrs. Lightell for doing that. And then I build the plane as I'm flying it, so I didn't even have enough money from that. I didn't realize how much it was going to cost. So the budget has spiraled massively out of control. I couldn't even give you a number at this point.
And when I was watching the film, I was just saying, when I was watching the film,
Alan, go ahead with your question. Sorry.
Yeah, it did remind me a lot of, like, I just recently subscribed to Full Moon Features and watched a lot of trauma films, and there seemed to be a lot of influence from there. And I do like the fact that the story is not just about a guy trying to trick his wife, but there is kind of that sci-fi element you bring into it. Eventually, go ahead.
And I think also not just the sci-fi element, but the twists and turns of the movie. I feel like when people watch this all the way to the end and they really kind of think about what happens, one critic said it seemed like they ran out of ideas at the end, and I would have to completely disagree with that, because the end is where almost all the ideas are in this movie, and these twists and turns that you'll take when you watch this movie, you won't forget it. You really won't forget it.
Yeah, I mean, especially because the base idea of the movie has only so much legs to it, and so that's by bringing those twists and turns. It helps extend and bring the
and much like you said, Alan, like the first act is the weakest act. I mean, if I can be purely realistic about it, I know that the first act is but once you take that ride with this movie, if you can get through those first 10 minutes, if you take the ride, you will not be disappointed. So I invite everybody that's listening, take the ride with me. You won't be disappointed.
Well, Flaccid Phoenix has a question here. Any advice on how to come out to my wife that I want to be a man baby moving forward?
Flaccid Phoenix, in the movie, the character manipulates his wife, so he lies. So figure out some sort of manipulation that you can do. Perhaps a magic potion. That's what he does in the movie. Any kind of lie works. Maybe it's a after effect of COVID. Maybe you had COVID and it turns you into a man baby. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
just a suggestion.
Well,
just be honest. I think in real life, honesty is the best policy. These are not characters that we want to follow.
But like every episode of the Flintstones, I mean, Fred just lies about something.
Of course.
That's what it's
Yeah, this is
about.
very much a sitcom
Lies.
setup. It's a super sitcom setup, but I think pushed to kind of the stupidest degree possible.
Right. Scott Slaughterbeck says, so is this a first date film?
Oh, definitely.
And then let's see. Glenuccio's a member. Thank you for that. Being it took 8 years, what advice would you give aspiring filmmakers in terms of the reality of just how long it takes to develop and produce a film?
I'm kind of a person that I take a long time to think about what I want to put out into the world. So I don't know that this necessarily needed to take 8 years. I also didn't have a lot of money. So I was, I had that as a problem. To people who want to make films, just go out and make films, just go do it. Think about what you want to do, but it's important to you have a great camera in your pocket. Probably you can make a movie with that. So don't think you can't do it, and just do it. Like Nike says, I mean, that's the most important thing, is getting it done. Thinking about it, writing it, dreaming about it won't make it happen. You got to actually do the thing.
And Kara asked, how big was the budget? I mean,
small. It's a low budget movie. Believe me. We're not talking Hollywood budgets here, but we're talking Hollywood ideas. It's the ideas in this movie that sell it. And I think, that's what I want to talk about. Not how much I spent on it.
I mean, not that you would refuse a lot of money, but do you think having a lot of money would have caused it to lose a little bit of its charm?
That's a great question. Maybe a little bit. Maybe if there was more money.
I think money lowers the stress, but does it
totally.
help the final product?
Totally. I think it maybe would have helped a couple little things that just personally I think are kind of rough around the edges, and that's me being kind of a picky film guy who wants certain things to be a certain way. But I think, for an audience, it probably doesn't matter.
Holy Hand Grenade says, I need to watch this.
Yeah, Holy Hand Grenade. Vimeo. Go to vimeo.com on demand Manbaby. You can rent it right now.
Okay, Holy Hand Grenade is where for VOD. There you go. Vimeo.com/on-demand.
On demand Manbaby is the / there at the end. And you can also go to, if anybody's listening, manbabymovie.com. And we're really, it's super Googleable right now because we do have these screenings in Seattle and Los Angeles. Los Angeles next Friday, the 26th, Saturday, the 27th. Super Googleable. So just Google Manbaby movie.
And if you Google Manbaby movie, click on images.
Oh yeah.
And don't go to manbaby.com. It's
right.
Manbaby.
Yeah. It's Manbaby movie. I don't know.
Manbaby movie.
Manbaby movie. Manbaby.com's a Portland artist actually who has not sued me yet. So that's good.
Oh, there you go. I don't think you can copyright Manbaby. That was a term it's been around a while.
I think so. Yeah. There's a lot of movies called Manbaby, but none of them are as good as mine. So check it out, y'all.
It's funny that there are more movies called Manbaby.
There are. Yeah. A lot of them are shorts. And I think there's one other kind of longer short, maybe 45-minute kind of movie. But of course, Manbaby movie is a 93-minute, Hollywood narrative feature playing very soon in Los Angeles. So we're real excited about it and real happy. Yeah.
Retro Nerd Girl says, I can't wait to see this film. How did you get your cast?
Great question. Well, I wrote a script. Obviously, I wrote the script first. Then I had auditions here in Seattle, met a bunch of underground theater actors who do improv, do different kinds of weird theater here in Seattle. I don't know if you guys know, Seattle's a pretty big theater town. There's a lot of that up here. So a lot of really talented people. Met some people that I really liked and then rewrote the script for them. And then went into rehearsals, rewrote the script some more. So yeah, just found him through rehearsals, just through internet auditioning.
Question from Spidey Sensei 72. Did you ever work with Penny Barber?
I know Penny Barber. She doesn't know me. She's probably maybe a level above in the world of adult videos that I was. I was maybe a notch lower than her, I think, in terms of success. I'm not going to say who I worked with, but you would know their names, or I guess Spidey Sensei would know their names. If Spidey knows Penny.
Does one of them rhyme with Shmina Schmartley?
Shmina Schmartley.
Forget I said that. No one is going to get that. Sean, who will it be available in theaters? I think Sean may be joining late, but it's playing at The
Lemley Royal
Lemley.
in Santa Monica on August 26th at 9:30 p.m. And then it's playing again, the Encore, August 27th at the Lemley Royal at 9:30 p.m. again. And we're planning on some screenings in New York City, New Orleans, Austin, and possibly Chicago and Philadelphia. But all those are still tentative.
Well, definitely go to Manbaby Movie and check it out for where you can see it in a theater and eventually on VOD. Kara asks, are you planning another film? If yes, what will it be?
Yeah, I'm planning a film about an internet guru who a man falls into the clutches of an internet guru. It's like a kind of like a pickup artist guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Flaccid Phoenix, this is a very interesting question. What do you have a favorite shot in the movie? What was your favorite shot?
The last shot is my favorite. Actually.
It's so interesting when we talk to directors and filmmakers who you ask them and they know the answer right off the top of their head because they've got it. So the last shot, and I'm sure you can't say what, I mean, maybe you could say what went into that, but I think it's important and I'm completing a film project right now, and the first shot and the last shot are sort of bookends. You might not notice it, but it's very intentional what they're supposed to be.
Sure.
And so, yeah, can you say more about it?
I can. Yeah. I mean, in my case, the first shot of this movie is almost a throwaway. It was not the intended first shot, which is, kind of a disappointment. And then, but the last shot was also not intended to be the last shot. And we found it kind of through editing, and it's just really tender and fantastic and surprising. And it's a moment that just was a natural thing on set. And that's the thing about movies, right? Like when we were talking before about just go out and make a movie, it's like with just your phone, you can record magic. Like things happen on camera and you can't plan for it. It just kind of happens. And that's kind of what happened in that last shot for us. It was a scripted thing. It was a real thing. It was an acted thing, but it just feels to me kind of magic.
JK Nonstop Crazy says, Internet Guru already interested. Kara says, Internet Guru sounds good. Zax has a question. Do you have a favorite brand of diapers?
I'm not a father, so I don't know.
You don't have to be a father.
But you are an adult.
I am an adult. Yeah.
I thought, seriously, when Avengers Endgame was going to come out, I knew it was 3 hours. And I was born with one kidney. I only have one kidney, so I urinate a lot. And I actually thought about getting an adult diaper to watch that movie.
Well, my answer then to this question will be there's a special diaper brand in Manbaby. Zax, please rent the movie on VOD or come see us in LA, and you'll see my favorite brand of diaper.
Well, Scott Slaughterbeck says, did you get any product placement money from diaper companies?
We did not, because that diaper company is a fictional diaper company. So you got to watch the movie to see the fictional diaper company. That's my favorite.
Kara asks, was there improvisation on the set during?
Of course. These are all improv actors. So we improv on set. We never improv on camera, even though I suppose we could because it's digital and it's cheap. But we tried to stay away from improving on camera. We tried to, improv we had about a week and a half of kind of like rehearsals in the space where we were shooting. So we did a lot of improv during that time too. But when
that's more about that's more about the cast dynamic though. Just trying to create one.
Well, and in writing too, actually, because the actors would come up with different lines and different things that I thought were funny, and so we do. And so like when we were shooting too, because it's digital, we would do different versions of things, and then in editing, kind of figure out like, okay, this is working better, this is not working better. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, because of the low budget, we didn't have all the time in the world, so sometimes it was like something actually was better, but there was like some technical problem or some boom shadow or it's little shit like that always gets in the way. And so
Tim, I want to thank you for being on the Film Threat Livecast on a Friday.
Thank you guys so
taking
much.
Time out, coming from Seattle. You're going to be coming down next week to the LA area to premiere Manbaby at the Lemley in Santa Monica. Everyone check it out and go to manbabymovie.com to you can see the movie on video on demand on Vimeo. There's a link directly. I think manbabymovie.com kind of rolls off the tongue.
Manbabymovie.com sounds great. I'm headed down to Portland. Just to add to that, we're doing a free show in Portland tomorrow. So anybody that's in Portland, Oregon, they listen to all this, they say, hey, I got to see it. Come down to the Fourth Wall PDX. It's a cinema bar in Portland. We're going to start at 4 and probably run it 2 or 3 times.
Well, when I hear free show, Portland,
Free show.
I have no idea what to expect.
Gonna be a lot of
words
Manbabies
combined. Portland, the birthplace of the Suicide Girls, by the way.
That's right.
I don't know why I know that. It's because it's from a Chuck Palahniuk novel, and it also is a popular burlesque website. Tim, thank you for being on the show. Congrats to you
Alan,
for the movie,
Manbaby,
and congrats to you also for all the other work that you do. I appreciate. I have had friends who have worked in the adult industry before, or some have called it men's sophisticates, and you know what? It's filmmaking is filmmaking.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate all that you do for indie guys like me. It's so great. I really appreciate the time.
Cool.
Blessed.
All right. Congrats on the film. Congrats. Have a great screening. Talk to you soon. Later. Thanks.
Bye.
What a great guy. Look at that.
Yeah.
We're rolling in. This is a busy day today, folks. So happy. We've got over 200 watching live right now. Smash that like button. Smash it, please. We need you to share, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And also, we'll need you to
My face is huge right now.
Your face is huge. Your face
My head is big.
Now. But yeah, subscribe to the channel. You'll get gems like this.
Finish him. Oh, my jeans.
Let's change things up a bit and welcome to the Film Threat Livecast the actor and director James Clayton, who does, I assume you do your own stunts, James. Welcome to the Film Threat Livecast. My name is Chris Gore. This is my colleague Alan Ng. We're live on YouTube right now. Hundreds of people watching you. Your movie Bulletproof, it comes out today. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah.
It is out today. It is a gritty crime thriller where you are the lead. It is brutal. It is like from the beginning, this movie just cooks. There aren't any. I was just talking about how I have to kind of plan my bathroom breaks. There's no bathroom breaks in this movie. It's also really surprising. Yeah, there's literally no bathroom breaks. It's just nonstop. So tell us, first of all, I always admire actor directors because I could never see myself doing that. I don't like to be on camera as much as I do YouTube stuff. Ironically, I don't like to be on camera. So, but tell us where did this idea come from and how did you do this? Because you're not just acting on camera, you're not just directing, you're also doing stunt work. It does not look easy because you can always spot someone that it's not. And my son and I will have conversations about this. Someone doesn't know how to use a gun in a movie correctly.
Yeah.
It's clear they don't have haven't had a gun safety course is what I'm saying. But tell us what led to this project and how you put yourself in a very difficult position to both direct and act.
Well, yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I was looking for something that was really going to challenge me as a filmmaker and an actor, director, producer. And Bulletproof's my directorial debut. So I really jumped into the deep end. Mm-hmm. I'd been producing horror films for the last 10 years, and I really wanted to make something that was just kind of fun and a popcorn film. So I went to a couple of really good friends of mine that I had a high respect for as screenwriters, and we started developing this idea because I wanted to make a chase film. I love Lethal Weapon and The Road Warrior and Bad Boys and all those 90s action films. Even Raiders of the Lost Ark, that fun kind of levity where there's a little bit of a supernatural, not supernatural, but surrealist kind of cartoony kind of feel to it. That's kind of light, but still dark mm-hmm. stakes. So that's where it really started. And then that's when I realized kind of the bit of the problem that I kind of put myself in. So I was fortunate enough to have a great team, and we prepped the film for a year. So we planned all of the shots, all the storyboards, the edit was already in my mind going into filming. So editing the film was actually quite easy, and it actually lent itself to the nonstop feeling of the movie that you're experiencing when you watch it, because everything was quite intentional, even right down to the transitions and the snap zooms and all that kinetic energy. And in terms of the stunts, I mean, I did have a lovely stunt double, Olivier Lunardi, and a stunt driver, Ryan Ennis. But I was fortunate enough to do, a lot of the physical fighting and the shooting and some stunt driving as well, which got, pretty hairy at times. I got a little taste of what Tom Cruise does, and I have a high respect for him, I'll tell you that. But our armorer, Thomas Potter, who's one of the producers on the film, I actually went and did gun training with him, and he's an ex-Army vet, and he would smack my hands constantly when we were at the firing range. He'd smack my hands, he'd make me land on my side and do all these things. So I was already beaten up by the time we started filming. It was par for the course.
Well, tell us about the story, because this is an action movie with a twist that happens in the first act. Whatever you can tell us without giving away the last half of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the movie is about a thief, and much in the tradition of, the old Westerns with the man with no name. He's a wandering thief. He pulls off a heist of this, really sadistic mob boss played by Vinnie Jones, whose name is Temple. And there's a little bit of twist on him too, because as much as he's a sadistic mob boss, you can see that he's actually got a little bit of a soft side when it comes to his wife and the lineage, his unborn son that she carries. And when the thief rips him off and then inadvertently is forced to use a car from the junkyard that he's robbing, which Temple owns, he discovers Temple's wife in the trunk. So now, instead of this, perfect getaway, so to speak, he's inadvertently trying to figure out how he can escape, but also potentially be her white knight, begrudgingly so, though.
Well, I will say this. One of the questions we get a lot when we talk about new films coming to theaters and on demand and what people want to watch, they always ask, like, is it woke? That's a thing. And I'll say, having seen the film 100%, it's like a throwback to a kind of movie you love. Like you mentioned, 90s action. It definitely feels like that 90s action, gritty. And I love it has like an epic scope at the beginning when you see the car lot. It's insane. All these like broken vehicles. I mean, you must tell me about working in that location, because the movie opens big.
Absolutely. Well, I'll answer your first question. My intention is I wanted to make a movie that was accessible to the widest audience possible. So that was really my only thought going in. And I wanted to make sure that I honored the characters as best as I could, while, also too, not taking the material so seriously, because I wanted it to be taken as kind of, like a light popcorn summer film. And then going to the junkyard, that was an incredible location. We found it by fluke in Vancouver, British Columbia. And, in the script, it was originally written as he had kind of almost like a mansion compound in the middle of the woods. And I would say probably about a month and a half before filming, I really went through the entire script and looked at all of the set pieces and wanted to see how we could elevate it, because we shot at large format lenses and I really wanted it to feel like it was very big in scope. So when we found this junkyard and how sprawling it was a no-brainer. And the owners were like, come on in, blow some stuff up. Let's have some fun, right? So, and it also really lent itself to the wonder. The way that we opened the film and the kinetic energy, that was always planned to do it that way. And the location itself just really cemented how well that whole kind of idea behind the screen grammar of the film worked.
I have to say that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have to say that junkyard is the perfect start of your movie. And I was going to ask you, it looked like there was a lot of prep work done, but it sounds like that's the way you got it. And did the owners just basically say, yeah, just blow anything up that you want and do whatever you
They weren't. It was kind of like that. I mean, we did a walkthrough before filming, and I said, okay, so which cars, if we end up crashing into, is okay, and which aren't? Because I mean, they're all valuable, so to speak, to the owner in that junkyard. So we actually went and we marked the different cars. So when we were driving through, we knew, okay, if we're going to do a power slide, we can tap this one, and we're not going to get into trouble. But if we tap that one, we're going to have to dip into our contingency. So we were definitely very mindful about it. But, with a lot of the locations in the film, a lot of them came as is. There wasn't a lot of set deck. And that was the real joy of it. We scouted for about a year before filming because I really wanted to approach the locations almost as if you were shooting a documentary. I wanted things to be as real as possible when we got in there, as fantastical as, the set pieces are themselves.
Yeah, it definitely has a gritty realism, and the action is just, I mean, it's like those classic 90s action movies, but this is like at high speed. Let's see. Holy Hand Grade says, welcome, James. JK Nonstop Crazy Talk says, good stuff. And another thing, just watch the trailer, says Dino's Reviews, looks pretty good.
Oh,
so there you go. Glenuccio asks, how are you able to balance acting and directing?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, it's certainly a challenge, and it requires a lot of concentration. As I mentioned before, I was really, really focused on the prep with my editor and my cinematographer for months beforehand. So when we got to set, we already knew the setups. We knew the lenses. Of course, there would be improvisation on the day if something wasn't working with actors or the location didn't quite work with what we had planned. But that allowed me to be able to focus on the performances for myself and the other actors because everyone had already been directed by me, so to speak, beforehand. So that's how I did it. I don't know any other way how you could.
That's great. Other questions here. What is the most dangerous stunt you performed, asks Solomon Thornton.
Oh, it would be the desert chase scene in Bulletproof, which I don't want to give too much away, but we were driving, through the loose sand and dirt on the road. And there were more than one occasions where we were doing 360 spinouts and it got a little hairy. So what you see in the film is real. And I'm really doing that driving.
Wow. Sean Hu says, comment here, I love that you were intent on getting things right, learning proper firearm handling. It's always good when someone wants to do it the proper way. There have been other sets. I mean, there have been accidents on sets, of course, recently and in past productions. I mean, it's tragic. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Well, it absolutely is tragic. And it's, it always comes down to being as mindful as possible. And I mean, at the end of the day, too, we are just making a movie. So we always want to be as safe as possible. And when we were filming, to be honest with you, as much as it looks real, the only gun that was actually a real firing gun on set was that machine gun that's featured in one of the clips. And it's because they don't make a replica. So we were very mindful to make sure that everyone was safe. And they're all basically air guns in Bulletproof. I hope that doesn't dispel the fantasy of it, the realism. But, it was something that we took very seriously. And in terms of the preparation, just speaking for myself, I want to make sure that I'm given 110%, every single moment of the time. And so it's a real privilege to be able to have had the opportunity to do that kind of stuff.
And, I also appreciate the clever uses of the gun for more than just, pointing and firing, but, to actually use it in a fight. You don't see that too often.
Scott Slaughterbeck says, Vinnie Jones looks pretty badass in this. Watch the trailer. And Patrick Lemire follows up, how is VJ off camera? He is frightening on screen.
Yeah. I get this question a lot. He's actually a wonderful sweetheart, which I'll probably get into more trouble from him saying than if I was to uphold his on-screen persona. I mean, he's very much like a Charles Bronson to me. I think he's a great actor. Every take that he did, I could have printed the first take and moved on. It was almost kind of like a bad joke, running joke with me, as we were filming. But he's a very thoughtful, very wise man, and he was very, very kind to me. Yeah. So that's how he occurs off screen, if that's a surprise to you.
Seems like a lot of people went and watched the trailer, and now they have a lot of questions. So I hope you don't mind sticking around.
Not at all. No, it's my
lot.
pleasure.
Great. Flaccid Phoenix asks, which scenes were the most difficult to shoot?
Oh, great question. I'd say that probably the desert chase scene was the most difficult to shoot. And then I would say probably the opening sequence of the film, that James Bond 7-minute opening. Really, because there's so many sequences and little set pieces in it, and the cameras that we were running too. So we would have like 5 cameras going at the same time. So it was a lot to coordinate to make sure that the coverage was happening properly.
Dempsey, who's a member, asks, Tim, what was it like to work on the set of Supernatural? You were in one of my favorite scenes from that entire show.
Oh, wow. That was so long ago. Thank you for that reference, Dempsey. I was blown away by it. It was a phenomenal set. I mean, that was a long-standing show in Vancouver that was beloved by everybody, behind and in front of the camera. Jared Padalecki was nothing but a kind gentleman. I was so young when I filmed that I was still kind of in my young brooding actor phase, and I was taking myself too seriously. So I didn't really get a chance to really get to know Jared as much as I would have liked. And I could tell he kind of gave me a couple side glances like, who's this young, crazy kid? But it was a wonderful experience. And it was very much like stepping, into like a family home.
Cool. And then Kara asks, did you destroy some cars or something? I mean, and real quick comment on what you just said, that opening scene, you described it as a James Bond.
Yeah.
I felt that way. It was such a purposeful, amazing, like opening of like, okay, this is going to give you a taste of what this movie is in like, 7 minutes, boom. And there's no, like, the movie doesn't introduce anything. It just starts. Like it punches you in the face in a good way, but maybe talk about some of the work with cars.
We definitely crashed a whole bunch of stuff. We crashed cars, we blew up cars. Fun fact is the Crown Vic, the green hero car in the film, we actually only had one of those cars. We couldn't find a double, and I don't know why we couldn't find a double, but we only had one. And it survived every single action scene until the last one. And then we popped the tire rod on it. On the last day, it was the most bizarre thing ever. It was kind of like saying, I've had it. I'm done. And then we wrapped.
Kara goes on to ask what your inspiration was. You mentioned 90s action. Any specific films you want to shout out?
Yeah, I definitely like, the original A Fistful of Dollars. Right, with Clint Eastwood, Indiana Jones, Lethal Weapon, Death Wish, Bad Boys, and also too, I really enjoyed, a lot of Scorsese's films, which kind of seems like it probably doesn't line up, but I'm such a fan of all of the 90s films that Scorsese did, particularly between like 1990 and 95. And if you watch like Cape Fear, you can see that I was inspired with the use of his snap zooms with transitions and stuff, and like his frenetic energy in terms of editing. I think there's a lot of stuff from him that rubbed off on it too.
Cool. And Flaccid Phoenix asks, do you want to continue with action movies or get into other genres?
Oh, well, I really enjoy doing action. Bulletproof was my first action film, and I've got 2 more in development, which includes, a sequel to Bulletproof. So I think I'll be focusing on action for a while, but I'd love to get into other genres. I'd love to do a comedy one day if someone will have me.
Cool. And a lot of comments here from people. They seem to watch the trailer. Patrick Lemire says the locations look fantastic. Viva analog filmmaking. Dempsey says this looks like a good time, and Zach is like, this looks like a really fun flick. And then we have Dempsey with another question here. Can we expect more films from you soon? If so, can you give us any hints about what to expect? I mean, a lot of filmmakers are like planning the next project while they're finishing the last. What do you got on your plate that you can tell us or not?
I got 3 films on my plate. So I've got the sequel to Bulletproof, which we'll just call Bulletproof 2 for now, but I might get clever with the title. You never know. And then I've got another untitled action film that I'm in development that I can't quite talk about yet, but that'll probably be filmed next. And then I also have almost kind of like a Snatch. It's got some action to it, but it's more of like kind of like a comedy crime drama that's in development that I'm looking to do as my 4th film currently.
And Kara goes on, do you have a dream project? What's your dream project? She asks.
Oh, great question. I'd love to direct like a Transformers movie or a movie like Jason Bourne or something. I'd love to do like a big studio action film. I think it would be just a treat.
Well, I mean, you could call Bulletproof 2 Maverick. It worked out for Tom Cruise. Why not? It worked out for Tom Cruise. Cool. James, so glad you spent time with us today. The movie is out today. Is it in theaters and VOD or just theaters?
It's in theaters and VOD today.
Great. Theaters and VOD today. So check out Bulletproof. Strong recommendation for that. Sean, who says possible title for the sequel to Bulletproof.
Oh, I like that one. I haven't heard that one.
Instead of Bulletproof 2 Bulletproof.
I really like that one. Good suggestion. I'll keep it in mind.
Keep that one in mind. That's
well,
great.
it should really be also bulletproof.
Yeah.
Also bulletproof.
Also Bulletproof. 2 Bulletproof.
That's a good one too.
James,
well, it's my sincere pleasure too. I really had a lot of fun.
Great, thank you. Yeah, we have a lot of people who watch the channel. They're aspiring filmmakers. The fact that you'll take the time to talk to them and answer their questions directly, I know they all appreciate it, and I appreciate it as well. So thanks for spending your morning with us.
Hey, my pleasure. And to all the filmmakers out there, just like never give up, because you can do it. Definitely.
That's the secret. Never give up. James, have a great rest of your day.
You too. Take care.
Thanks again. Awesome.
One thing I like about this movie is just how important that opening scene has to be.
That
in your
opening
movie.
scene is so good. I'm glad he compared it to like a James. It's like it kind of informs what the rest of the movie is going to be like. It gives you a taste. But Flaccid Phoenix, great interview. This guy is amazing. So many people in the indie film world. This is part of my not so secret agenda with Film Threat, right? Is I want you to talk to indie filmmakers, not me. I talk to them all the time. I want you to talk to them because there's no barrier for entry. There's nothing stopping any of you right now from making a film. I mean, some guy named Tim made a movie called Manbaby. You can make a movie called whatever you want. You can do it. Flaccid Phoenix, great interview. The guy is amazing. Kara, thanks for your time and good luck. Scott Slaughterbeck, thanks for a great interview. Well, yeah, no, it's but my purpose in doing this is really to, kind of mix up the show. We talk about like what movies are in theaters. We talk about, we talk to indie filmmakers. Sometimes we get into topics and whatnot. Like, I want you to be inspired if that's what you want to do. And it doesn't mean like he acted and directed that. I'm just like,
yeah, I'm blown away by that.
That's really hard. Look, yeah. And Kara says normal people here. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But
see,
also,
the thing about an action film, directing an action film, I would be so focused on not dying in an action scene that why would I want to direct that as well?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, and it's also like you hear a lot of people complain, how come I'm not given opportunities? No one very clear, let's be clear. No one owes you an opportunity. No one owes you anything. The world owes you nothing. Zero. You create your own opportunity. You produce yourself. You create the pathway for yourself making a film or a television show or whatever. You can make a web series. And there's many different, maybe you don't want to direct, maybe you don't want to act. I don't want to act. I do not want to act. I have no aspirations to act. I don't even want to be on YouTube right now. I don't want to be, no, I don't mean that.
What?
I mean, no, what I mean by that is like, I really like when I do other shows, I just like, I don't want to be on camera. I'll do the show. I just don't want to be on camera. So that's what I mean. That's what I meant by that comment.
The thing is, if someone owes you an opportunity, you're going to get a movie like Batwoman. I mean, that's
but what I'm
just
saying
what it
is
feels like.
There's a difference. There is a clear difference between a person hired to make something like you mentioned Batgirl, right? You're hired to do a product for a corporation or a project you've been spending 8 years of your life on called Manbaby. There is a clear difference.
Mhm.
So, and Abomination AJ says, we can do it. Mainstream does not mean valid. That is correct. So many, almost all your favorite filmmakers came from indie film. The needle they need to thread, and by, you know, like everyone from Christopher Nolan made a 16 millimeter black and white movie called Following. You know, James Gunn made a bunch of little indie movies. He wrote Tromeo and Juliet for Lloyd Kaufman at Troma Pictures. He and then directed smaller indie movies. So the point is that there's no one telling you can't do it, right? Sure, there are barriers, but to me, money is an excuse to not make a film. Write this one down. Money is an excuse to not make a film. You don't need money. You got this. You have this. Oops, I didn't want you to. This. You've got this. There you go. You've got your phone. You can make a movie with that. And let's get some more comments here. Glenuccio, a member, thank you for that. Great advice. In the words of Doc Brown, the future is what you make it. Marty, the future is what you make it. Flaccid Phoenix says, we love hearing about indies, but we love something more. Alan getting the plungers. Don't we all? All right, let me see.
My nipples look like milk duds.
I just like how tone I am in that.
Scott Slaughterbeck says, as Steve Martin says, be so good they can't ignore you. Yeah, that comes down to being self-critical. You have to have what they call, there's a documentary. I don't know how to see this. Look it up maybe on Just Watch. It's called Rhino Skin. Rhino Skin is directed by, I believe it's directed by and starring an actor. It's a documentary, by the way, called Rhino Skin. It's about being an actor and auditioning in Hollywood. And the term Rhino Skin is meant to, it describes the skin you have to be in the entertainment industry. You literally have to have thick skin to be in this industry to be able to survive. You need rhino skin. And Retro Nerd Girl, bringing it home, says, I have to say that I'm so grateful that you highlight all of these awesome filmmakers, because this is the first time I am hearing about them. Thanks so much. Yeah, it's important, because here's the thing. You see the mainstream stuff in movie theaters or on streaming services, whatever. These are the big, they have, one, they have no excuse to fail. And number two, they have all the resources possible to make those movies. What I want you to begin to notice is filmmakers that don't have all the resources, that spend 8 years committed to 8 years is longer than most marriages last in Hollywood. I've seen it. So what I'm saying to you is, by presenting these filmmakers to you, by asking questions, and by subscribing to other channels, I'm going to recommend Indie Film Hustle. Okay. Strongly recommend that channel. And then also Film Courage. A lot of you probably found me from Film Courage. Film Courage is a channel you need to watch on a regular basis. Not just me on that channel. There's screenwriters, filmmakers, directors, actors on that channel, giving you the no BS nuts and bolts of working in this industry. And it takes courage. It takes courage to put yourself out there with a thing you made and go, okay, I'm ready for your criticism, and then to get shit on. And that's important. It's important. Now, hopefully, like me, you've been shitting on your work for years behind the scenes before you present it, to at least present the best possible version. I'm doing this right now with a little project, Attack of the Doc, right? I've been working on this for
You're
a while.
shitting on your work right now? Is that what you're saying?
No, just like we do a thing. The process is called notes. So you look, it's like, okay, we're going to look at a new cut, and then you go through the notes, at the 8-minute, 8-second mark, this happens. It should be this instead of that. We have to change this. There's a typo here. There's a, look, I want to get the best possible version of the movie made with the resources I had. I want to show to you, and then open it up for criticism when it's finished. So Retro Nerd Girl, thank you for that comment. I do appreciate it. We're going to bring things home and wrap it up. We've been going 2.5 hours. Still have 200 people watching. I appreciate that. I love that. It almost makes me want to go
My nipples look like milk duds.
I am now, that is now my favorite. That's my favorite tip. That's my favorite clip. Is the tip.
I'm glad. I'm glad you get new favorites every so often.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to say to you, thank you for spending time with us. I also want to say, become a member if you're not already a member of the channel. We highlight the member chat questions and comments. Additionally, you're gonna get. I gotta take off my phone all the video and pictures I took while I was in Vegas. I'll put one public in our community tab, and then the members are gonna get all the unedited stuff. And Alan is also going to be posting in community. Alan, we'll talk about it after.
Yeah, we got some parties coming up, so I'll try to
get some parties. So Alan in party mode. Alan in party mode is going to be a lot like this. All right, so
I have an Instacart order coming in for just those things. So
awesome. Anyways, want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. It was on fire today. Great questions. YellowFlash, shout out to him and his channel. Look him up on YouTube. Flashcast on Saturday nights is must watch. It's really fun. Great conversations. Reminds me of just conversations I have with my friends. We sit there and kind of shoot the shit. And I just appreciate, your dedication to watching us live every week. Alan is now at Cinequest. If you're up in the Bay Area, Alan, are you going to be doing a meetup or anything in the Bay Area?
Not really, but I will be at most of the events here, so you can meet me there.
If you're at Cinequest, I mean,
yeah, there's a beer and wine party that goes on all afternoon into the evening. And so I will be there at some point.
Well, I don't drink, so too bad for me. That is a lie. I know you don't drink.
I don't drink, but
exactly. Hey, thank you, everyone. Alan, take us out.
All right, let's get out of here.
My nipples look like milk duds.
No, wait, that's not the right video.